Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
What the hell was that?
Business as usual.
Smoke. Will just exploded.
I thought Will was just repelled by the notion of adult.
That too.
Okay.
And I'm deflating. Sorry, I'm deflating.
So today is International Museum Day.
So a long time ago, I wanted to go see the greatest collection of African art ever. So I went to London, England, and I loved their museum.
Which one? Got plenty
The
of
Natural History Museum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, the thumbnail is the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago. And if you ever go to Chicago, it's wonderful. They've got really a museum district that they've got the Museum of Science and Industry, the Field Museum, the Shed Aquarium, the Chicago Art Institute. You know, they've got it all grouped together. It's all in walking distance of each other. So it's a great place to just, go and spend the museums. But yeah.
Did you know that
spend a day in each.
Did you know that San Francisco does not have a natural history museum? Do you want to know why?
Because all their history is artificial?
Because there's nothing natural about San Francisco. Don't steal somebody's punchline. Just say, I don't know.
Jenny, I was about to say, I've been there. It's beautiful. It's one of the greatest places. It's breathtaking. Go to San Francisco.
I've been to San Francisco. It's very, very nice.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry,
May.
Wait, which one is it? Which one is it? I want to do this properly. Which one is it?
Because in LA, our natural history museum is amazing. We have the Endeavor in our museum right now.
Oh, that's cool.
I took Isaiah.
Oh wow.
Well, and for anyone who hasn't been paying attention for the last 4 years, I'm constantly plugging for the Science Museum of Minnesota.
So there is a museum in San Francisco I want to go to, and it is Uss Hornet Cv12. And I'm like a big naval history buff, so
really?
I know ships a lot, and
yep.
Anyways, so there's an Essex class carrier there, and I have to make the joke. She's across the bay in Alameda. I've got to make on that X base. Just she's not nuclear, unfortunately.
Nuclear vessels. I can't say vessels.
Nuclear vessels.
Vessels.
So I want to go, but it's not just she did a lot of work. She actually worked for NASA, and she went and picked up astronauts after.
Yeah, I know she was recovering in some of the Apollo missions.
Yeah, she's got a command module that actually went into orbit as well, and a bunch of NASA stuff. It wasn't one of the ones that actually it's not one of the ones that actually went to the moon or anything. It wasn't even manned, but she has the test. I'm actually looking at the page for the carrier, not the carrier museum. But she has a command module, and it's like super cool. I want to go there. And she has a tomcat too.
The town of Manitowoc, Wisconsin, is right on the shore of Lake Michigan, and it has a long maritime history of building ships and stuff. In fact, it has been building some of those new littoral class things, destroyers or some crap. They've been pumping those out. This is right on Lake Michigan. And they have one of the only, I think it's the only display of an actual German World War II submarine in the water.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that.
Hey, Mage.
Yeah, the littoral combat ships are
pretty funky looking.
They're the equivalent of, I guess they're the equivalent of a World War II Corvette, which is cool. I've only been on one warship. but that was HMCS Haida, and she's in Hamilton. I've been to her once when she was in Toronto a long time ago, and once when she was in Hamilton, and I'm actually be going to go see her again in Hamilton because a YouTuber I like, Drakinafel, is going to be there. He's from the UK, but yeah, I might
From
get
the
to go to
UK
see,
club.
Drakinafel and Haida again, so that's cool.
But, talking about boat museums, you're missing the most important and accurate one there is, and that's Ken Ham's Creation Museum, his Ark Encounter.
Well, that is true. You're absolutely correct for bringing that up.
It makes every natural history museum just obsolete and pointless. Because there is no natural history, obviously, beyond 6,000 years. According to Ken Ham, that is. I'm not going to quote him as believing that, of course.
I think he's right.
It's at least 20 years on. 20,000.
Nerdy, I do believe you have sentience, but I think you left it laying on the radiator too long and it's warped.
All right, so just in the San Francisco area, I've been on the Palomito. I can't speak English right now. The James O'Brien and the Hornet. Those are the rotating museums in San Francisco, and I've been on all three of them.
Nice.
The museum I really, really want to see is whatever the hell is holding the spruce goose right now.
Oh, that's in the Long Beach port.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really want to see that thing.
When you come back, I went on a cruise. When you come back, it's suspended in air in the when you come back into America off the ship, you walk in through processing and there's the spruce goose. It was actually, I took pictures of it and I almost got tackled because you're not allowed to take pictures in a federal building.
Oops.
And so they're like, erase it. I said, okay, I'll go dig up those pictures I took.
They should make an exception for something like that. That's just stupid.
It was unreal to look up and see that thing just up in the air. It was unreal to me.
It's one of the few planes that I would like to build a replica remote control model of.
Yeah. I do like a I do a lot of like old World War II fighters and stuff.
My dad was on the Bennington, and that ship actually had a really, really interesting history. A lot of it was, what's that?
Isn't that where they started fancy men's fashions?
Probably because because a long time ago when I got outed, the first thing my dad said was like, I'm not shocked. I spent 20-something years in the Navy. So to me, that was code for like me too, you know.
Well, that's it, isn't it? They call it a rusty bullet or Navy cake.
They call it sea pussy.
Yeah. You go back to traveling museums like P.T. Barnum's weird freak museum. He travels around with that. But you look at people today, especially in America, the P.T. Barnum's museum is quite normal.
I've been to a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum.
The Circus Museum is located in it's in Wisconsin. I'm
Baraboo.
Portage, but I don't.
No, it's Baraboo, Wisconsin.
Baraboo, yes, absolutely. Baraboo, Wisconsin, which is like right in the middle of the state. It's really something to go see. You get to touch and feel all the ancient circus wagons and
That would be interesting. I would have thought
Well,
the actual, the actual circus equipment and stuff
Yep.
that he used himself.
Okay,
But when
so
he started gluing large fish to skeletons and saying they were mermaid bones and things like that, that was beyond it. And I'm interested to hear what Mage now and his Ripley's museum did. Did you believe it or didn't you?
Some of it not.
I've seen a lot of it online. I think what all crap that is.
Well, for people who are familiar with classic sci-fi, that's a bit of an Easter egg.
A good portion of it was optical
that-
illusions.
Well, the Circus World Museum in Baraboo, if there's a whole series of books called Circus World, and their ship is the city of Baraboo.
So, does anyone have a torture museum in their town?
There's one in
Well,
London.
not yet, but now that you mention it, we can.
I knew Dog was going to say that because when
There's one in London, the London Dungeon. That's it.
I was
Medieval
shocked.
torture.
I was shocked that you guys had one because we have one. It's right in Hollywood. I've been there. They have some of the original electric chairs made by Edison. Some really scary exhibits.
Well, they're not really torture. I mean,
it shows how
in
disgusting we are as
medieval
humans.
times, the Brits did torture people. As far as I'm
it shows-
aware, America wasn't around in medieval times.
Well,
Didn't the electric chair that Edison came up with just kind of like cook the guy for a long time and not kill him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was used as a torture device after.
Yeah, America. Hey, yay, hell.
And that's why the torture museum, and it also shows gay conversion therapy. It also shows what's the other one? It's basically people getting yelled at and beat up. It's worse than the Museum of Tolerance.
Well, okay,
No,
if you're
actual
talking about torture in those lines, added to the Science Museum's collection, they have inherited the entirety of the Museum of Questionable Medical Devices.
It's called the Torture Museum.
Okay.
And it's on Sunset Boulevard. And we also have the Museum of Tolerance, which gives you the World War II experience of being Jewish. That they take little school kids there. It's traumatic.
Yeah,
It is. It's traumatic.
Yeah, that's not
Could be.
nice.
It's
That's a
meant
bit
to
like
be this.
slinging religion into schools, isn't it?
But it's meant to be because look at how many generations removed are already saying that it didn't exist.
yeah.
And to my
They're
generation, like I had a grandparent who fought in it, so it's weird to me.
But
Yeah.
there's people
be
who
fair-
lived. There's people who lived in that time who are saying it didn't happen.
That's crazy to
To
me.
be fair, I'm not saying, I'm not going against like the Holocaust or the war. But I think there's things that just need to be forgotten. I think, and it should never be spoke about again.
If
We know
people
human beings are fucked up, and we know they're terrible people, and we do terrible things, and we still do terrible things to each other.
The problem is, if we forget about them, they will happen again. We're seeing that in the US right
if we
now.
don't forget about them, they're due to happen again right now.
It's
Right
happening. It's
Party in
happening now.
America.
Yeah, Jenny's right. It's happening now.
The Nazi Party in
Um,
America is about to take control, and people do not realize it. The mass public is completely blind to the reality.
Exactly. This will always go on. There'll always be this bigoted biasness of hatred that a certain person will have towards other people. Like the whole world has got all of a sudden against Amber Heard. Everyone hates her for whatever reason, just because they think
Hey,
she's a lawyer. But
Morning.
she, as Will said earlier before the show, that Johnny Depp is a weird cokehead.
But we
Who
have
knows what's
weird
going
allegiance.
on?
We have weird allegiances, and so because people are in love with Johnny Depp, they think that he can do no wrong. And this is why I always caution worshiping people.
Yeah.
Because people
You know,
are people.
Well, that's what happens when you turn a celebrity into an idol.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
Anybody-
going back to the Holocaust and the way that's treated, religion has had a great history of denying its past and its atrocities throughout the centuries and ages of what they got up to a couple of thousand years, their murders and their wars, and they deny all this, that they're good people, and everything is done by closed doors with them, and no one bats an eyelid. But when someone said, "Oh, the Holocaust never existed," of course it happened, but perhaps it's happened. We know it's happened. We know it's bad.
Well, I grew up in
Why
a community.
remember it? Why go on about it?
I grew up in a community that was 85% Jewish, and I knew people who had the serial numbers burned in their arms. The guy who ran the delicatessen across from my grammar school was one. That one time his shirt ripped the sleeve open, and he immediately just tried to wrap it up and ran in the back room. It was the only time he dropped something in the middle of an order. But he just didn't want anybody to see that. He was ashamed that he had survived.
That's nothing to be ashamed about.
No, but he felt guilty for surviving for all the people he saw killed.
If I went to a museum in Poland, Auschwitz Museum in Poland, which was it's one of the most somber, sober, and depressing places I've ever been in my life. It's no Disney World, put it that way. I suppose that is a museum of torture as well, of how they've got instruments of what the Nazis did to these people, and no one needs to remember that. No one needs to relive it.
Hey, could we lighten this up?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to talk about all this.
One true museum of torture is the Small World ride at Disney.
Okay, so Mage, this is just advice from a middle-aged weirdo on the internet. Do not ever take mushrooms and go on that ride. I took magic mushrooms and went on that ride. The second you said that, I could hear the song instantly in my head. It is torture.
After all.
I can't imagine Disney animatronics with mushrooms.
You learn lessons, and I learned to not put myself in anxiety-filled situations on drugs. I was young. I was dumb. This was literally like 27 years ago.
One of the things I really like about America is, you see books about it from time to time, or TV programs on PBS or something, about all these weird museum things that people spend their life doing at their home in Florida, Missouri, Arkansas, wherever, and they're just these really bizarre places. I mean, I've seen roadside museums like the Matchbook Museum.
Oh yes.
And the hair museum. Somebody has snips of supposedly celebrities' hair and stuff like this. And here in Wisconsin, I guess it was leading into something. We got one that's really cool. It's called the House on the Rock, and it was this guy who was kind of a loner and a builder, and built this entirely bizarre thing up on a bluff in the what area would that be? The drift. Well, it's a part of the Driftless area, but it's very western edges. And it's just a museum of all kinds of weird things, from automated clowns to demonstrations on nuclear energy. It's just this weird blend of different things. And it gets thousands and thousands of visitors every year.
It's like that old Route 66. I did some of it. Well, we did some of it years ago. Didn't do all of it. on the old route, and there's plenty of little old museums along there. There's the Bottom Museum, and it's just these weird little wonderful places that are all over America. The largest ball of string and the largest ball of earwax.
Well,
It's just people up. All them alien museums.
Yeah, exactly.
Museums around Arizona. It's just
if you come through Wisconsin, if you take, instead of taking Interstate 94, you can take Highway 41, which pretty much parallels it. And there are all sorts of little museums along that route. One of them that I really remember is the Firehouse Museum. That this guy has, you know, this one guy has a collection of all sorts of fire equipment, you know, through the last 150 years.
Who's doing the guitar?
Me.
Maygay.
I'm just noodling. I have severe ADHD, so it actually helps me pay attention. I like the small museums. Like I live not far from my hometown, and a little bit east of Toronto, I guess, Peterborough. There's there's a rock and roll museum on the in Omemee, which is where Neil Young grew up.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, Neil Young's from my hometown. That's pretty cool. Like we have a canoe museum in Peterborough, as well as like a local history museum. It's really cool. I like the small ones.
Like handmade canoes, birch barks and stuff.
All of them. They have like some canoe like stuff too, like dragon boats and whatnot. It's really cool. I haven't been there in a while. They actually moved to the museum. I haven't gotten a chance to go to the new location. There's actually also one we have until they built one in Scotland kind of recently. We had the tallest lift lock. The tallest hydraulic lift lock in the world. No electricity runs the thing. It's 100% of. It's just 100% hydro. But it's also the world's largest unreinforced concrete structure, and it has its own museum. But there's also, it moves a lot more. It moves a lot more volume than the one in Scotland. The thing is utterly massive. You got to see the thing to believe it.
And also in Wisconsin has a lot of very weird things like this. There's a whole book called Weird Wisconsin that focuses on all these strange little side shows and things. I don't know exactly where they are, but they're way up north, near the upper Michigan border. They have a fiberglass. They had like fiberglass fish, okay? And there is this muskellunge that's like 60, 70, 80 feet long, something like this. And you can take a tour inside of it and go up to its mouth. Get your picture taken inside the mouth of a muskie.
Whoa.
And generally, I think they're the better museums. I think, they're not like the natural, but we don't embrace history that way here. We do to an extent. But we haven't got these we've got the odd little tiny museum, and we do go the history of tin mining in Cornwall. There'd be a little museum there near a mine and things like that. We haven't got these people that they'll collect things rather than open a museum.
Yeah, that's what they are.
In America, they'll open their own little museum. They'll open up their house to these things they collected all their life, which is the route Will is going on. As you know,
I am.
He's going to have the first sewing machine museum in America.
Honestly, I also have a camera collection. I have a meter collection. I am going to open up a museum one day.
Well, this is it.
It's funny you would say that because in San Francisco, they have the Antique Vibrator Museum, and that's out of someone's house, And I've also, if anyone's ever seen Pee Wee Herman with the big dinosaurs out in the middle of the desert, those are off the 10 freeway in California. And they're pink. They paint them every year, but now they're pink. You can walk right up to them. They have like museums inside of them. That's awesome. And Pee Wee Herman made them famous.
Cool.
There's a fake dinosaur collection in Milwaukee County. It's called the Milwaukee County Zoo.
Herb, I think Sammy's in the back.
I did put a link to just to the tourism page, I guess. It's a really nice picture on the front of that. But yeah, like
Also, there's in San Francisco, Alcatraz. Isn't that a sort of museum?
oh, I'd go see that. Yeah, there's lots of stuff in Alcatraz.
Alcatraz still have the mask of the guy who who escaped. All of them. Herb, I think Sammy's in the back. If you're there.
Yeah, no. When I was in San Francisco, I never went there. I just thought it would be just an old prison.
It's beautiful and breathtaking. Just from turning around and looking back at this city, it's amazing to see.
I think we have enough. I wish the UK. I wish we would embrace. I mean, we wear history on our sleeve, I suppose, because we are an old. We're an ancient civilization anyway. The UK, so our history is basically all around us anyway. We have the changing of the guards and whatnot in London. The little quirky little museums. I don't think we have enough of them. We need more of them, I think.
In London, you have like Egyptian art just hanging out on the Thames. Like you guys have you guys have
Cleopatra's Needle on the Thames.
Yeah, that to someone like me, that was amazing to walk up on something like that.
Which is the original 5,000-year-old needle. How it's still standing there, I don't know. But yeah, it's still there. It's from Egypt. It is from that period of Cleopatra, I believe.
Yeah. Well, England's been getting a lot of flack lately from a lot of countries, about returning historic artifacts.
Well, yeah, I agree. We did conquer the known planet back in the day, and we named it the Commonwealth.
To be fair,
we did take a bit of. We took a bit of everything. To be fair, from everybody.
Some of it has been returned, like things to Ethiopia.
Yeah, we should give it back.
All the stuff in England I want to go see was at least all the stuff in the UK I want to go see is at least stuff from the UK. Like Portsmouth and Chatham and actually Bovington has a really badass tank museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to go see the boats. I want to go see the big boats with guns, lots of guns and boats.
Do you know a museum that I went to? Now that we're bringing it up, I went all the way to a foreign country to see a certain museum before it went down. It's in Wales. Can anyone guess what museum I went to?
The Leaf Museum.
The Potato Museum?
The Dragon Museum.
No, that's Ireland. I'm sorry.
The Doctor Who Museum.
Oh, that's
I used
a
to go
traveling one.
I used to go to the museum called the British Museum of Science and Nature when I was a kid. They had this manatee called Snooty there. Unfortunately, he died. He got stuck and drowned.
Oh, that's terrible.
But when you first go into the museum, on the right hand, they had this glass case with shrunken heads in it.
We have that in Hollywood. I love that. We have shrunken heads at the Ripley's, believe it or not.
That is so fucking creepy.
It is the
Yeah.
weirdest. Isaiah and I have gone 3 times, and he will not look at them.
I was
I love- I
fascinated
love-
by them.
I
Me
don't
too.
blame him. I got creeped out just by the mummy at the Science Museum.
Oh, I've seen Tutankhamun twice too.
Yeah.
You wanna-
I forget his name, but there is an actual Egyptian mummy
I'm
that was on display at the Science Museum. I think it's been moved now. But
Yeah. You maybe saw King Tut, but I have seen the International Mustard Museum.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What privilege.
oh, and Hormel has a spam museum.
I'd go see that.
like spam as in like
Yeah, the tinned meat.
okay.
They have at that they have tins of it and stuff, a whole supply of them that are like 50, 60 years old, and you can still eat them. They offer it to you, and you can make little sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah, what can do lips and bumholes go?
There's a one of my girlfriends, one of my partners actually likes this YouTube channel where the guy goes and gets like military MREs and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and he eats them, but he's gotten some from like fucking World War II and World War One, and he's like, this. Some of this is surprisingly still edible. Some of it gave me salmonella.
Yeah.
Isaiah watches that.
In the early 90s, some maintenance workers wound up breaking through a brick wall and found a fallout shelter from the 1950s that everyone had forgotten about that was still fully stocked with all the canned food and water.
Whoa, that's cool.
Is any of it edible?
Yeah.
Actually, yesterday I watched it was on one of Simon Whistler's bajillion channels. I think it was today I found out. But he did one on whether or not Twinkies actually have infinite shelf life. And
They
no,
don't.
they don't.
Oh no, I'm telling Sammy I can't hear him.
No,
Oh,
but Twinkies will survive because they're one of the few things the cockroaches won't eat.
And oddly enough, my dad when my dad passed away, I found all of his weird hoardings. He had a bunch of RC Cola and moon pies. And you know what? The moon pie was damn near 15 years, 20 years expired. I ate one and didn't die.
Wow.
Okay.
Testing.
You can hear you now.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
I thought you were all being so rude.
No, I thought RC Cola and moon pie and Twinkies will outlive us all.
Okay. Mark Caesar saying that he found a recipe for spam to make sushi.
Yeah, that China is wrong.
Um.
I agree
Yeah,
with
well-
that.
Okay. Every 3 years we have a family reunion, which draws about 300 people altogether. And one of the events that my sister runs at this every year is a spam cook-off for everybody to come and present their spam recipes.
I really have no interest in spam.
Yeah, I have no idea how this started or why this keeps going, but
Right.
I want to know how Ox can compare anything to the taste of a tampon. How the fuck
Spam
does he
is
know what a tampon tastes like?
I'm curious about this 50-year-old ham. So there's so many questions. Like, one, did they just make a whole bunch 50 years ago and couldn't sell it? Or two, did they plan this 50 years ago to go, in 50 years, we're going to give people this spam?
you mean at the museum?
Yeah.
Um,
Sammy,
You're
Sammy,
okay.
you mean like,
because
you mean like dig it up out of a time capsule sort of?
the answer to that is there is no explanation because I made it all up.
Yes, that's what I
That's what I do.
Ox, I grew up eating spam and
critical
sardines.
mind.
So I'm biased towards spam. I love spam. And I still eat sardines to this day. You want to clear a room? Open up either pig's feet or sardines, you will clear a room.
I
Michael
love
was the only
Bianca used
person
to
I know
love
who
to
liked
snack on
sardines.
sardines.
And
Yeah, I
Michael was the
like
only
it.
like
I like
sardines.
spam. Like Ox says, you fry it up a little bit, little slice it, and fry it up.
Damn right.
Spam is no different than
Bacon.
sausage.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
love spam.
Yeah.
Right, spam is awesome.
Well, actually, I'll tell you a secret. Spam is the stuff that Hormel decided wasn't good enough to put in their hot dogs.
Of course, yeah. It's the teeth and the ears and the lips and the and
Beef
the
rectum.
pig's armpits and thing and that scaly bit in between the trotters and all of that. I think it's just stuff that's not wasted.
So you just triggered a memory from Crazy Americans. When I was a kid, my dad took me to our local Farmer John plant, which coincidentally was right next to the Alpo. I'll never forget that. Our Farmer John plant was right next to the dog food plant. I always thought that was weird. But at like 8 or 9, I got to go on the killing floor, and I'm not a vegetarian. So, but I know how they make hot dogs. And if you
It's like,
saw the slurry that goes into making hot dogs, you would never eat a hot dog.
Yeah. It is. It's just all this rubbish meat that just spun until it goes into this liquid pink goo.
Now, I'm going to come and
Forced
defend hot dogs.
it's forced into a shape, then, isn't it? And
That's exactly how they make chicken nuggets for McDonald's.
Have any of you ever
And
had
KFC.
Vienna Red Hots Vienna Red Hot hot dogs?
You talk about the mini wieners?
No, they're full size regular wieners.
No.
They're the ones that are featured in Coney Island and the hot dog eating contests.
Oh,
Vienna
yeah.
wieners are made out of the shoulder of beef, beef shoulder, which we also call what's that called? It's what they make corned beef out of eventually.
Yeah.
Silverside.
Which is also why those are kosher, because they don't have any pork in them.
Yeah, it's considered one of the best cuts of meat you can get, and they grind it up for hot dogs. And it's because it's kosher. It's using beef.
I think if most of us knew exactly what went into processed food, none of us would eat it.
I know what goes into it, and I still eat it.
Well, yeah, because it's fucking delicious. But
I worked at a meat packing plant, and
I think a lot of the things, I think we wouldn't. Hoof and eyeballs and bits of brains and whatnot. Nothing's really wasted these days.
Well, I've eaten salt and vinegar crickets before.
So
that's protein, though. That's different.
I worked at
You got 3 whole natural products there: vinegar, salt, and crickets. What's more natural than a cricket?
what's that, Sammy?
I worked at a poultry factory.
Oh
and
boy!
One of my jobs was to push these big hoppers up this ramp and tip them into a machine that would just grind it into this pink paste.
Yep.
And lay it out in sheets, and then a nugget-shaped stamp would come down and stamp the nuggets out. And then they would batter that. And that's your McDonald's. And all those nuggets went off to McDonald's, KFC, and they all then put their own salt and stuff to make it.
What McDonald's does is McDonald's is putting growth hormones in the French fry oil. Because then at night, the seagulls are eating all the spilled French fries, and they go and harvest the seagulls from the parking lot. That's where all their chicken comes from.
I was about to say, Sammy, in Australia, you guys have standards. We're lucky if it's a chicken in our McNuggets. In America.
I had this non-meat
McDonald's
protein.
fries, they grow.
That's the old joke. That's the old joke. The Chinese are clever people. Who'd have thought prawns have balls as big as that?
When I was
saying chicken nuggets, who'd have thought chicken had nuggets that big?
I've had stuff from the US, like same thing, like same shit, pretty much different sometimes not even different packaging, but one's made in the US, one's made in Canada, and it's like, yeah, you know, like shit down there, kind of.
Okay, so
comparatively.
I can tell you why. And I ran into this as a kid when I did a little bit of traveling. In America, we put sodium. We either put salt or sugar in everything, in all of our food. No matter
both.
no matter
You
what we
bleach your
eat. Okay?
chickens, don't you?
So, oh heck yeah. So when you go to a different country and you eat something, you instantly taste the difference because there's no salt, there's no sugar. You're like, this is disgusting.
Oh,
Yeah,
so we're
between
just bad.
between
We're-
McDonald's
we're,
and
ju-
Burger
we're
King,
almost as bad for that, okay?
Burger King is
So
actually a
that's
lot more in sodium than McDonald's.
Burger King is
Yeah.
currently technically a Canadian company.
See,
I
I've
didn't know
I've had Burger King, I've had McDonald's, I've had Pizza Hut, and all these
Yeah.
American things in America, and they taste no different there, or size-wise, than they are here. They're not bigger or anything like that.
See, but that's
Yeah.
different though because you guys eat like us in the UK. You guys eat just like us.
No, we don't.
you
You
eat
eat
different-
a lot more than
no,
us. Of
you
course
eat
you do.
curry-
You're American.
you eat
We've
curries
got
and
our
fries,
obese
but-
people, but in America, have you ever been to Disney World? Well,
It's different here. Like we have our large stuff we call American size.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Will,
a
have you
lot
ever
of
been to
stuff-
Disneyland?
Seriously. Like we have American pizzas and they're big, massive pizzas.
18-inch and above.
Yeah. But
I've seen, I've seen
And over here, when you go out and buy a frozen pizza, it's a 12-inch.
Yeah, exactly.
Just so you guys know.
see, a 12-inch pizza here is unheard of. We don't 8 inches. That's big enough, I think. But yeah,
That's
they,
because they're small.
you
in
do have them
America.
super sizes and things like that.
Look, I'm not denying that in America our food is not genetically modified to kill us,
Oh,
but it
of course.
tastes good.
It's not that, absolutely. But any
in
food
America, most of the
any food that comes in a bucket is not for human consumption.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
we don't do things like make pudding out of blood.
No,
I'd like to try
think.
that.
You do, you have blood sausage.
True. But after you genetically modify it, you deep fry it, then
you have blood
roll it in
sausage.
sugar, give it another coat of deep frying. So
do you know, while I'm cooking, I always laugh because like people from other countries would be like, "What is sewing doing?" I fry everything. I was raised by a black man from the South.
We fry ice cream here.
Exactly.
Deep fry.
I'm
Deep
not-
fry.
Oh, I do.
I like deep fried. The only thing I really go for that's deep fried. The only reason I would ever use my girlfriend's deep fryer is if I was making tempura. I bake or pan fry everything.
I think the world's first heart attack museum should be in America.
I think it's called the Heart Attack Grill.
Do you know, a long time ago, I heard Greg Dyke, Mr. FIFA himself, say how he came to America and he went to South Carolina. And his family, they were playing Spot the Fatty. Hey, I've been to London. Y'all ain't skinny either.
Yeah, tell me about it. Well, we do have our big people here, but when I think it was 1998. Well, we went to Disneyland is it Disney World or Disneyland in Florida? It's Disney World, isn't it? No, it's Disneyland, Florida.
World is in Florida.
Yeah.
World.
No, Disney World. Then we went to Disney World in Florida.
Yeah.
Did all the parks and every single one of them, from Magic Kingdom, Epcot, the island one, and the what's the one with the big tree, the jungle one, whatever it is.
Garden of Eden.
It was just
Jungle Book.
big Americans there, and the food was extraordinary big as well. It was just.
You want to
I
go to
couldn't eat
America
portion,
and have
Food at
good.
Disney is awful.
good junk food. You go to a baseball stadium during a game.
Yeah.
Oh, Jenny.
You would not believe the kind of stuff that you can get at baseball stadiums. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
the food is big portions, but the beer is small portions. I never got that.
Well, we do that to rip each other off because you spend more money drinking, and then you get drunk, and then you start eating.
This is it.
We're consumer driven though. Like in America, it's all about making money.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
I agree,
But,
Nate.
yeah.
I agree 100%.
But the thing is, junk food does taste so fucking good. It really does.
Yes, it does.
Hey, Skid Scratcher.
How's it going?
We now, if
See
you
later,
want to talk about like really good but really unhealthy food, then the absolute best is fucking poutine. No questions. No, nothing compares to poutine. I'm sorry.
There's everything in there. Yeah.
It's
Unless you're going to live off carrots and lettuce, then you base it on water. You're fucked.
It's
Even bread these days with preservatives in them and everything. You know, there's nothing much you can do, and it's bland. So what do people do with bread? They deep fry it. It makes it taste better, and that's what people do.
Hey,
It's not in America. You don't have to because it's got sugar and salt in it.
Americans take salad and cover it with cheese and drench it in so much dressing that you can't find the lettuce anymore.
Exactly.
Just for people who don't know what poutine is, it's French fries with cheese curds, and then the cheese curds are melted with gravy.
Yep.
Oh, poutine.
Proof that there is a God.
It's people mispronounce it. It's not poutine. It's poutine.
Every Canadian I know other than you says poutine.
Isn't
Right.
Unless they're from
Sorry.
yeah, but I've
Poutine
been laughed at
French?
too many people from Quebec for mispronouncing it. So I don't want to be one of those Anglos who mispronounces their food.
Quebec.
Well, isn't poutine French, which basically translates to a plate of shit?
Jesus.
Just don't say poutine. Just don't say poutine because that literally
poutine.
translates into cunt.
Oh, that-
Poutine good, poutine bad. Yeah, the translation is ungodly mess.
You have these guys that are really, really skinny, and these people, whoever they are, male, female, it doesn't matter, and they call themselves competitive eaters, and they go to these restaurants, these barbecue restaurants, and they do their challenges, which is just like stuff you wouldn't feed a family in a week, and they get an hour to eat it, and they'll eat it in an hour.
But
I
dog,
mean, I
it's
can't
a
imagine.
skill. It's a skill to stretch your stomach. The average person, Skits, could you do that? Could you just sit down and eat like 50 hot dogs at once?
No way. No way.
That's what I'm saying. Like I couldn't do it either, and I'm a bit of a hog. I'm skinny because I walk around a lot, but I eat a lot.
I don't think they have. I don't think it's as popular today as it used to be, but it used to be very popular, particularly in the West, in farm regions and ranching regions. That restaurants would have things like a 56-ounce steak. And you can eat the whole thing. It's free, and of course nobody can.
That's ridiculous.
So they get to charge the guy $30-$40.
You know,
I remember that
Jenny-
film with John Candy, The Great Outdoors, with the old 96er, and he had to eat the fat as well.
Jenny, you just reminded me of one of the most American restaurants ever, the Heart Attack Grill.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So if you are over 300 pounds, you eat for free. If you've had a heart attack and bring your paperwork in, you eat for free. And everything is made with lard. They even put lard in the milkshakes.
What?
Oh,
I'll pass.
I don't.
Yeah.
The original one was in Phoenix. I went to the one in Vegas with my friend, and I'll have to find my old pictures. I've taken pictures everywhere I go, you know. But like, it's surreal to go to this place. And when we were leaving,
potential terrorism through
Yeah,
food.
okay, but you could say that about anything though. Like I live in America. We have guns. I have the potential of walking outside and getting smoked for for looking at someone.
Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Yeah.
Especially
You might have heard of this.
Paul,
You
People
might
with
have
guns
heard of
kill
this,
people a lot easier.
You might have heard of this, but Mitch Horner got fucking carjacked.
who?
Yeah,
Who got carjacked?
Did you hear about that?
Who?
Mitch Marner got carjacked.
I don't know who that is.
Like the NHL player on the laughs.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
With a rifle. And stole his car apparently.
I did hear about
He got
that.
carjacked with a rifle?
Yeah. Well, we don't have the handguns here, eh? Yeah, we don't really like those. So the rifle's the only option you have in Tirana. Nobody, no, we don't open carry the rifles here, eh? So
And not everyone's trained
seriously.
in trained in hand-to-hand, Skip.
Did he
I saw that look
apologize
on
the whole time?
I saw that look on your face.
Yeah. Also, you gotta have the Nanaimo bars and you gotta have the butter tarts. I'm sorry, those are like the two fucking best like junk food in the face of the planet. Nanaimo bars and butter tarts. If you've never had them, well, then
I'm gonna look up what a butter tart
I've not
is.
had anything you've mentioned so far.
it's like a butter tart is like pecan pie, except for it's even worse for you.
They
Didn't know that was possible.
another carnival food here is deep fried butter.
Deep fried butter. Okay.
They made fun of that on Eek the Cat like 20 years ago, and apparently it's a thing now.
They really have it. They take a stick of butter, they freeze it in liquid nitrogen. Well, they bread it first and freeze it in liquid nitrogen, and then toss it into the deep fryer, and it gets just enough time to brown the breading without melting the butter because it's still frozen. And you take it out, it's edible.
First off, sorry.
Edible.
At the
Dick
Minnesota
Dawson
State
is right.
Fair, you
My
can find
weight was the
anything
coolest movie
deep fried
Bob
on a
had.
stick.
Exactly, same here. First off, 10 points to Skits for saying "Eek the cat." I know how old you are. And here, and we have state fairs everywhere, but in Bakersfield, California, you can get damn near anything deep fried. That's where they, at least in California, they claim.
What's the
to
thing
invent
about
it.
putting things on a stick? That is the thing about, you put everything on a stick, and deep fry it.
Yeah,
well,
but
Tastes better
at
that
the
way.
fair they just do it because then they don't need any plates or utensils.
Convenience. Yeah.
I've been to a country where they had monkey meat on a stick, and people are walking around eating hands.
What, monkey hat?
I'm not kidding you, and I don't say the country because I don't want to be called racist. But I've been there. But I've been there.
Well, it's
I've
basically
actually heard of people. You see, every once in a while we do something crazy. I've heard of people deep frying fucking butter tarts.
That's not see in America. You can get deep fried anything, so that's not crazy to me.
Okay, that's something that's already extremely unhealthy. Then taken and being deep fried.
Is it any worse than deep fried cheese curds?
Yes, it's considerably worse than deep fried cheese curds because cheese curds aren't necessarily unhealthy for you. This is like deep fried liquefied
come on.
sugar.
Cheese curds are pure fat. What do
Yeah,
you?
cheese curds are congealed fat. That's all.
It's the whole process of making cheese is to get the fat out of the milk, so that you can dry it up and eat it that way. So cheese curds and whey are like pure fucking grease.
Yeah.
So I'm not hitting on anyone. Has anyone had a deep fried pickle?
Yes, all the time.
Oh yeah.
No,
They
all
are
the time.
so good. They're so good.
But Jenny, the fattier the meat, the tastier it is. That's where the taste is.
Well, yeah, that's why they cook this stuff that way. It's but cheese is different.
Oh yeah. And if somebody mentioned about any food you
American
get in a
cheese is
bucket
weird though.
at the Minnesota State Fair, at one of the booths, you can literally get a half-gallon bucket of French fries.
Jesus.
Oh my God! Really?
Yep.
I can just imagine someone walking around with like a big KFC bucket
Yeah. One of the
Yep.
things I do for nachos, I take
Uh,
guacamole, tortilla chips, put the nacho cheese, extra sharp cheddar, another layer of chips, another layer of cheese, and then top it with onion and
That sounds pretty
microwave it
good.
to melt it all down and heat it up.
Back to my
Oh
earlier
yeah, I'd
comment.
eat that.
If anything
Thanks,
comes
you're
in a
making me
bucket,
hungry.
it's not for human being. It's for pigs.
Sometimes I'll go into a or a quick convenience store, and I'll go over to the chip section and I'll buy like one of those tins of liquid cheese, and I'll just eat it. I'll just drink it the way.
Yeah.
The way.
The aerosol cheese.
No. The liquid stuff in a dipping tin.
Oh, okay. Okay, not the compressed air can.
I
Yeah,
actually have a Tostitos problem with the Tostitos cheese. I don't even drink. I haven't had a sip of alcohol in 8 years, and the only habit I kept going was eating those stupid. Have you guys ever seen Tostitos cheese at the store? It's like liquid nacho cheese.
Well,
Hey, Randolph.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm addicted to that stuff.
Did you ever try their bean dip too?
Oh, I love that too. And their ranch dip is kind of mediocre, but yeah, I like all of it.
Yeah, that's the nacho cheese I use for my nachos.
I hear ranch is taking the UK taking the UK over as like the favorite condiment.
Really?
So Skits, I have a question for you. In Northern California, are you guys ranch dressing eaters?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
yeah.
Just making sure. Okay, you're from California. Good. Just making sure.
I put that shit on my pizza. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. There's this girl on TikTok. Her name is Dawn Farmer, and she's just this young kid, maybe 19, 20, something like that. Just a real sweetheart, and she's been getting people to mail her stuff from America. Foods and candy bars and different things. So that she can open them up and taste test them live on TikTok. And somebody sent her ranch dressing, and she absolutely went botzo for it, and it's just been spreading like wildfire, I hear.
Interesting.
Oh, that's funny.
It's insane the amount of people that are doing these, especially the Americans are doing Americans react to British comedy and things like that. And they're getting tens of thousands of followers and likes, and you've only been like doing it for maybe a month or so. It's insane how these cultures are trying out these other cultures sort of stuff. You think
Dog,
they're doing
I was-
myself.
Sorry. I
Dog
was-
tries American stuff, and at the end I'll just go, yeah, shit.
I was honestly offended when there was a kid who I know was not old enough to be around when SG1 first came out, and he does reviews, and now he has like, I'm not. Let me look him up. His name's Fail Whale. I'm not mad at the kid, but I was like, man, I should have made, because I was obsessed with SG1 when I was a kid, and all he does is review old Stargate episodes.
When I first saw SG1, when it was on Showtime, and they actually showed bare breasts in the very first episode.
Yep.
What?
Winner, chicken dinner. That's how you capture an audience.
Was that in the movie or the series?
The series.
How come I
First
never saw
episode.
that in America?
Well, they
filmed in
edited it out
Vancouver, so-
when they put it on regular TV, but it was on
It's-
Showtime, so you had to pay a premium.
All right, he has 2,000 subscribers. I when he had like 200, I was like, oh, I can't stand this guy. Good for him. Yeah, in the first episode, I have all the DVDs, but when Daniel Jackson's wife gets turned into a Gould, I love your horns.
Yeah,
Sandy.
that's it.
Those are badass.
But when she gets turned into a Gould, they show her boobs.
Gooey boobs.
But but back in the day, that was like a big thing to see boobs on TV, you know.
Oh, for real?
Now,
There's also one episode where they accidentally show a underage girl's chest momentarily.
on Stargate?
Yeah. It's
Like
just
how
it's just a brief moment, but it's actually still on there.
Hey, Randolph.
I don't have horns, but my guitar does.
That's cool. I remember, when my early days of cable, it'd be when my grandma had it, and when she go to bed, like turn it to Skinamax, and like it's all wiggly, and like I think that's a boob.
Boobs are boobs. I don't. Boobs are nice.
It's surprising how you see people will be so biased and bigoted against each other. It's amazing how alike humanity is, even from a cultural perspective. Whereas trailer parks, they're here. You had My Name Is Earl in America. Trailer Parks Boys in Canada have made fun of them. We have them here. And they're crime-ridden as well. We call them pikeys.
What do you call them?
The
Pikeys or gyppos or travellers or wherever.
Oh, okay.
We call them. You call them trailer parks. I think they call them trailer parks in Canada. That's a worldwide phenomenon.
Sovereign citizens.
Sovereign citizens, yeah.
I was about to say, around here we call those meth labs.
not a whole lot of people
what I'm
live in
saying
those
is-
things. Not a whole lot of people live in those things around here, all year round around here.
It's not rare.
All I'm
for,
saying
a
is
trailer
why the world is it's a puzzling place of why
It's a
these
form of
people
cheap housing.
will fight and go against other people, whether it be colour or sexual orientation or whatever. It's upsetting to see. I'm not trying to bring the stream down, of course not. But I think humanity can get fucked, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Most
but
of it can go get fucked.
I live in the Ritchie area, okay?
And
I live in
especially
a nice
you,
area. We have the same problems that trailer parks have. People are on meth here. People are stealing stuff. In my neighborhood, I'm not kidding you, we have a group of blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids that go around stealing cars and breaking into people's houses.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the shows exaggerate these places.
Don't be so sure.
But they are dens of crime and criminal activity. But it's not.
Dog,
because
have
of
you
what
seen
they are.
Picard?
It's a situational thing. I would assume.
Dog, have you seen Picard, the new
You don't
Picard?
want me to start.
Yeah. Just I managed to watch the last show day before yesterday of the second season.
Okay, really quick. Did you see how they portrayed Los Angeles with all the homeless people and everything?
Yes,
it's worse than that in real life. They tried to shine a light on it. It's
because it was a
worse
different
than
reality, Will. Don't forget.
I know, but in real life, like LA has become a war zone between
That's the whole world.
like
That's
and
the
then
whole
yeah,
world.
but my whole point is like I think we should shine a light on that instead of sugarcoating it, you know.
It'll always be every stuff like that will always be sugar. But Maygay, please mute. That's just getting annoying now. It really is. Or play a decent song.
My whole point is like television either overstates or understates, you know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that is worldwide. But obviously, these people and governments will hide the fact that they're not failures. This is just society. But if you bring light to these sort of situations, that's what charities to do, I think. And charities, these homeless charities and things like that. And I don't agree with these people who go on YouTube and give these guys $500. I don't get that. I think that's just. I think they're making far more money. They're making the money back in tenfold. It's like these people who are exposing scammers. They're making far more money scamming the scammers and getting money off YouTube than the scammers are getting. I find these sort of things. You know, if you're going to do something, do it covertly and be that guy. You don't have to broadcast someone's humility at being homeless by filming him being appreciative that you're going to give him a burger or a sandwich. Give him the fucking sandwich, not to film it, broadcast it.
The
Will, you're on fire, mate.
But also, it's not quite like that everywhere. Like here in Australia, we don't have nearly the problem that like Will's describing. I've seen what he's talking about, and it's almost like the homeless have taken over cities. There's so many. We don't nearly here in Australia.
Where you're from, it's different.
But nowhere. Like
your demographic is different. You might have these wonderful, massive cities, but the people are so far. But well, your country is so vast. We're not that big a population. It's incredible.
I think that's part of the problem too. Is that I live in a city where everyone moves to, and so people come here thinking that they're going to get famous. Not knowing, 500,000 people moved here on the same day, thinking the exact same thing.
Well, that's it. And you have the old casting culture of America. But the thing that brings America down is the religious side of it. That's got its fingers deep into the pies of everywhere.
Do you know? I say this all the time.
Politics and anything that is and it's schools, and it has to get, because it's all to do with the money. Got to chase that American dream.
Yeah.
You said you've got
Well,
chasing the American dream.
California does literally have a lot of homeless people that get shipped there from other states. Because they get sold on the idea that the weather's a lot nicer, so it won't be so bad there. And a lot of states, just to be rid of the problem, will give the homeless people a one-way bus ticket to anywhere they want to go.
Pennsylvania is the worst at that. Every other homeless person for, I want to say, the past 20 years, if you ask a kid, hey, where are you from? They'll say somewhere in Pennsylvania. I don't know why.
Maybe because there's a big chunk of Pennsylvania that is extremely conservative and Amish.
Okay.
Oh, Pennsylvania. Okay, yeah.
Well, there are almost
Pennsylvania.
there's 553,000 homeless people in the U.S. and there are around 17 million in empty homes. So you can pretty much give every homeless person about 30 homes.
Exactly.
See, now the Amish as well. If you had the chance, would you live like the Amish? I certainly would.
No, not a chance.
So, do they have Wi-Fi?
I was about to say the same
This
thing.
is it. This is it. There's none of that. You're basically off the grid with them. And there's a sense of community, a proper sense of community where people do help each other.
I certainly do not live as an Amish person in an Amish neighborhood, which doesn't really exist because they all have farms and they're widespread. But I brush elbows with them on a daily basis when they come into town for various things. And the Amish are not this little wonderful, pristine, innocent cult of ancient ways. There are some very dark things that go on in the Amish community. The Amish community and Mennonites are one of the largest purveyors of puppy mills on the planet. Okay. They don't give a fuck. What happens to the dogs? They just want to sell them and make money.
See, no, I don't see.
And
this.
raw milk too.
Okay, yeah, raw milk. There's a big problem with pedophilia in the Amish community. There's all the things you can think are bad happen in the Amish community, probably at a higher percentage than it does here. But because they are so separate from us, we don't hear about them. But it is there, and it is.
Yeah, there are a lot of things that come out about child brides.
Yep.
Oh wow! I take back what I said. The Amish are a bunch of fuckers.
But they sell really good furniture.
See, I just thought they were just an old style people who just give up technology and just lived alone, lived in their own little communities and add their little praises to God or whatever they do, whatever God they pray to.
Human beings in any situation will revert back to our human nature. We hurt each other, we exploit each other. That's what we do, and make trash.
Well, it's not.
And
What,
make trash.
yeah. Yeah, it's
That's
not
what
what
they
we
call
ever
the
used
trash
to do.
monkeys.
I mean, it was all about survival.
Yeah,
I expect the old day. It was about survival, and it was about living, and we became communal.
well, and
Obviously,
before we had technology, survival was living in small tribes.
Mhm.
So our brains are hardwired to separate between us and them.
And is it too simplistic to say that to be nice takes more effort than to be a prick? Like, it's easier to be an asshole.
is it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well,
So I mean, I
this
think
is my question.
As a former
Or
asshole,
is it that that's the case for the majority, and that we're the broken few?
I think it is hard to be nice if you're someone like me. I regularly put my foot in my mouth, and Jenny will verify this. I don't mean, I do not mean to. It's just the way I am. I mean, no offense to people. I say it how it is. I say it how I see it, and I try not to be offensive. So I'm a nice guy, but being nice means I'm always trying to explain myself. Where if I was just an arsehole, people would say, yeah, he's just an arsehole. That's me. But I'm not. So it's harder. I suppose in that sense, if you like me, it is harder to be nice. Because I come across sometimes as an arsehole, and that's me.
I have a certain indifference where I'm nice to everyone, and it gives people a false sense of security.
Yeah, Will.
I'm
Will,
actually
you're a
dickhead.
fucking asshole. Man.
Well,
No, I'm extremely honest, and I don't back down. Is my problem.
well,
The
if you're
Marty
gonna do
McFly
something,
syndrome.
if you're gonna do something, you don't half-ass it. Be a complete ass about it.
Yeah.
My dad used to always say that, like if you're gonna be an asshole, be a big one. It's true. It's true,
Well,
though.
it's like earlier we were talking about this with friends, and this is where I brought this up before the show. It's like everyone these days are transsexual or they got bipolar or something's going on. They've got some allergy or they're poly whatever religious, and people are just it's a fight that people just want to be interested. I'm not interested. I'm just me. I'm boring. Just a simple heterosexual male. I have to put up with these people that are trying to be fucking interesting, and I'm being someone they're not. A lot of them are being people they are not.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far with.
I'm not going out that far with like trans. I know a lot of trans people are getting the nerve to come out now, being who they want to be.
Dog, you would hate
I'm boring. I'm boring as all fuck.
You would hate LA because it's one of the gayest places on earth.
I'm not so
LA
sure.
and San Francisco, everybody's something here.
Will, when you want to be a polytheistic pagan, when you want to be a polytheistic pagan of a religion that died out fucking hundreds and hundreds of years ago, but all of a sudden you're a polytheistic pagan. Tell me there's no personal statement of trying to be interested in that.
In a lot of ways, I agree with you, but I also believe in other people having the right to do whatever they want.
Okay, absolutely.
But dog, the problem
that goes without
is
saying.
It's not necessarily a choice. I'm an autistic, polyamorous transsexual, and I would just rather people ignore me.
Well, I'm not so sure it's people.
I put it to you this way:
pretending or anything. It's that people are trying to wear it on their sleeve too much.
I think, like, I understand what you're saying, because I went through a much lesser version of the same thing. And what I sort of had to realize is that there's actually just now more labels, and people are more able to define themselves. And so they do. And us old school type that grew up with gay, lesbian, and then even bisexual was this new thing.
Yep.
It was like, whereas now I realize I'm none of those things. I'm something that's a new label to me anyway. But I couldn't define myself previously. I didn't fit any of those categories. And it's not that I want to be interesting. It's just that I don't want to fuck men or women. I want to fuck both, but I want to fuck trans people. I want to, as long as you're human, I'll have a go. So I call myself Pan, but I didn't have that a few years ago.
So can I give you my address?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the world is a lot better for it. I have to admit it is.
It is.
I think people being who they are is good. But I know Jenny says she's older than me, but she acts a hell of a lot younger. She really does. And,
like I said.
She says she's older than me as well, but I know she acts a lot younger than me as well. I act like an old fart, and I am an old fart. As I say, I'm not interested. I've got nothing going for me. Maybe that's just my thing. Maybe
You're
just being
a dog in a priest suit. You're quite interesting.
That's like I said, you want to be comfortable in your own skin, because if you're comfortable in someone else's skin, that's murder.
That's like some Ed Gein stuff there.
Not until you get caught.
Yeah. Well, I
think Will puts his lotion on the skin, doesn't he? Will put the lotion on the skin, mate.
Oh, that's Bill. And don't get lost near my house. I got like 50 sewing machines, eye bolts, and chains. Don't get lost near my house.
Well, I've got to be me. No one else is qualified for the position.
Yeah, I tell a lot of fucking transphobes. I put on clothes and I walk out the door and people, and transphobia, not a big deal here. There's not a lot of it. People call me whatever they call me, and like it's almost always people seeing me as a cis woman, right? Like almost exclusively. I've had doctors be like, half an hour into a specialist appointment, be like, "Oh, I see on your charts it says your health card says you're male." And it's like, "Yep, whatever." So,
oh well, if you want, transphobia, come move down here to Florida. I think we're ramping things up.
I'll pass. Thank you.
Meanwhile,
but I don't even try. I like I said, I put on clothes and I walk out the door. And
I would, since we briefly touched this, I'd like to make a quick mention. I've only read a headline, so I don't have a lot of detail in it. Apparently today, some federal judge, declared the Tennessee bathroom bill unconstitutional.
I've heard a bunch of them getting shot
down. I saw that because
I don't get that. No, human beings, they piss and they shit. End of story. Doesn't matter if you're male, female, whatever you are.
The bottom line is there is no way on planet Earth to enforce it. There's no way. We were beyond the genital police. We're regardless of how much we're digressing as a species here in America, as Americans, because we are our own species.
Saying that, Will,
somebody finally stood up and was like, "No, how do you enforce this?"
That, Will, you know what the best way to enforce that law is to just laugh at them laws are? I dig a hole outside the restaurant and shit in it.
I posted on Twitter this morning.
That's what we did as a human
is
being.
a solution.
What's wrong with doing it now?
Here,
what we did.
Okay. One at a time here. Jenny was trying to say something.
Sorry.
I posted on Twitter this morning a screen dump of an article. I can't remember who it was from offhand. But it was a little story about the bathroom bills and stuff like that, and they were focusing on South Carolina at the time. And the sheriff of one of the bigger counties is on there quoting, basically saying that I've been the sheriff for 41 years and I have never ever heard of any instance anywhere with any transgender person in a bathroom. This bill is completely bogus and is creating a problem where there is none. So for that
Well,
to come out of the
bravo,
mouth
I'm
of
glad
the
he stood
Southern
up for
sheriff,
that. Yeah.
that is miraculous.
But he's making it an issue. Why is it even an issue? That's what
Because
I
the
don't
hill,
He's not.
because the
He's saying this
hillbillies.
is bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause the hillbillies won't stop.
Okay, here's how enforceable those those bathroom bills are. They're not thinking outside of their own little bubble. Like, if I went to anywhere in the U.S. or into say to a so like the United Kingdom or something like that, right? Like all of my everything says like says I'm female. Like there's what all of, like my passport is it actually most of our ID doesn't only our driver's license and passports do, and we can have the option to remove it from our passport. But like I have, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to be like no? Are they going to be like, then what happens when I challenge the law and be like, well, my passport says I'm female?
Where I
Right?
live,
Like,
no one.
like
Government could really make a drastic change without anyone having to make any changes, is legislate the people that own the toilets, the restaurants, the public, the councils, whoever it is that own these toilets, that you cannot have a female and male toilet, that every toilet just has a toilet symbol on it.
unisex.
In my back when this
So, I
whole
mean, that would
started.
be great, but you've got like
There's
restaurants
children.
like Chick-fil-A in America, which just make that thing
That
all
would
go wrong.
be an overburdened cost on some small businesses. They go
Yeah,
So
Just
here, it's
pull
funny
the
you
sign
say
off
that.
then. You know?
Because here in California, we actually have the third bathroom law, and it was state funded. So if you didn't have the money, the state would pay for it.
yeah. I actually had a dream where there was pizza place that had 3 bathrooms. Rooms and was men, women, and people who don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah,
Everybody
we've had that in England since the 80s. In swimming pools and places like that, you have male, female,
Well,
and just who gives a
there
fuck.
was one store I went to that there were 3 doors that they had marked male, female, and mechanical. So it was nice to see they weren't leaving the droids out for a change.
yeah, we have a lot of like for change rooms and other stuff. It's usually like I like when they call it the universal washroom / change room. That's one I hadn't heard before a couple of years ago, but they'll call it family or whatever. So there's usually a lot of third ones as well here.
Well, that's what you see a lot more of now in Minnesota, is that they've got one labeled as a family restroom.
So there are
Which has all the
downsides.
changing tables in that too, if you're dealing with little kids.
So there are
in
there are-
northern. Oh, go ahead, mate.
there are downsides. Like there's this one mall that has a unisex bathrooms. I went in there and somebody had peed on the toilet, and then there's a lady came in after me.
Humans are trash.
Yeah, well, that's just people being gross.
Yeah, but it happens so
And
often.
that's the other thing as well, Peps, that you have to consider here. That it's the wrong side of it. Because here in Europe, and I know they're cropping up more and more in America, these naturist resorts. We've had nudist beaches and naturist resorts. for decades, and people just walk around the nude with their kids and whatnot, and they don't care. But then you're getting these people now, these paedophiles that will move into these sort of areas, and they will hover around toilets just to get a glimpse of it.
No, they don't.
Yes, they
No,
do.
they don't.
Okay,
They
so
don't. They
dog.
don't. That's how this bullshit started. They do
No,
not
it's
do
not.
that.
Okay,
They
hold on. Let me
recruit
tell
a
you a
family
real.
member. They recruit a student. They recruit somebody they know. They do not go after strange children in bathrooms.
So real
But they
story.
didn't go
Doesn't
after them.
happen.
I'm curious, where are the parents when all this stuff is going on in bathrooms that they claim to be going on?
All right, I have to say this. Here in California, in a place like San Francisco, okay, it is legal for anyone to walk around with their shirt off. It is damn near legal to be naked in San Francisco, okay? How come pedophilia isn't rampant in San Francisco? We have the same laws in Los Angeles. In LA County, you could be a woman and be topless. And because basically it's equal rights, okay? People do it. We don't have massive pedophilia here in that way either. You know, I think you have to go with the statistics of the people who actually live in places where these are where it's legal.
It's sort of like this one. Oh, excuse me if I.
Yeah,
No,
and
it's
this
okay.
is
It's
where
just
this
you
is where
can,
these
like-
people are getting caught, and they're
Yeah, but,
repeat
like-
offenders as well. They're
Okay,
getting
but like
caught
for
it.
perfect
And this is
example,
the stigma. I'm not saying everyone does it. Of course they don't.
no, but
Jenny,
like,
right, no, but it happens, and
no,
this
but
is
here
this
we had-
attaches the stigma to this sort of.
You have to document that if you're going to say that.
I think our nudity. I think our
This
Republican.
is what happens.
I mean, I want to make it clear that I am not supportive in any way, shape, or form of pedophilia
Yeah.
and molesting children.
and
But
why
when
the
you
fuck
start
should
saying
even
that
have
kind of
to
stuff about the mythological bathroom incidences,
I'm not saying
it is
it's
like
mythological.
now, wait a minute, let me finish. You're like one or two words away from blaming a gay person or a lesbian person or a trans person.
No.
But no, not you. But the fucking goddamn religious folks will take what you say and turn it into this major lie. And so you can't be going around saying those things unless you have documentation.
That's literally what the fucking turfs do. They're like, oh, if we have trans women going into men's bath or into women's bathrooms, then just cis men will do it all the fucking time, and then blah blah blah. And it's like, no, we've had this here in Ontario. Like, nobody even cared before it was a big deal, before there was even laws specifically stating anything like there is now in the country. Like this has never been a thing, and trans women have been using the bathrooms openly here.
The people,
since the dawn of fucking time.
the people who do get
You're
assaulted in the bathroom,
misunderstanding me.
the
I'm
people
not
who
saying
do,
that, but we know this happens. There is statistics that show that there's the odd few that are creating these stigmas that
then you got
cause
to
this
statistics.
cause
because it's real.
this apprehension between everybody.
Well,
And
here's a question we can have about this.
Pedophiles will
You
attach
can
themselves to live
Yeah,
near
but dog,
schools
you
or
can-
try and work with children. They
you
do
can take
this.
any
It's not every
again,
paedophile, but
you
it
can take-
happens.
you could take any category. I grew up Roman Catholic. Guess how many people accused priests at my church? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's
pick
what I'm saying,
any
Will.
no, but hold on. Pick any category, you'll have predators. I grew up in a mainly. I don't actually know that's mean. I won't say that. Any category, pick anything, you will have predators.
Well,
Tell
here's
me somewhere
Yeah.
where there's not.
And
I
that's
have
what
money.
I'm
I'll go
saying.
move there
It
and
only
live in
takes a
peace.
couple. It only takes a tiny little 0.0% statistic to create this horrible bias that people cannot go and have a piss where they want.
Well, here's a question for all this. There's a guy who's telling me about using this argument. He said that he had his little daughter go into the girls' bathroom and he'd wait outside. Well, the question here is, what's safer, standing outside the bathroom or standing outside the stall she's in? Let's
Where
save it
I'm
for her.
from, you take the kid to the bathroom with you.
No, again, you misrepresented what I've said.
The
That's not
male.
what I said at
you.
all.
Yeah, exactly.
Ha-
I've as someone who's raising a child right now, like
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
not
even-
what I
I'm just
said
saying,
at
if
all. I'm
if they're
saying
talking
there is
about
people
having a
that have done
unisex
this, that
bath,
have created this weird biasness that shouldn't happen. That people are finding from a crazy few paedophiles that have done this.
I
I'm
was just
not
saying, I
saying
mean,
that
if you're worried about
all
that,
I've got nothing
let's save
against
her being in the
paedophiles.
bathroom
A
with the
paedophile that doesn't
person.
act on his urges is okay in my books.
I agree with that.
A paedophile who does act is the wrong one.
I agree.
Have any of you seen there? It was going around probably a couple years ago. There was this gentleman who was in a stall. He was on his phone playing on a game or whatever, and this random kid just crawls to him. He's like, he's starting to freak out. Right?
You're cutting
Is
out.
he roboting for anyone else?
Skits, your
Yeah.
sound is
Yeah.
cutting out.
Your
No
sound's
sound.
out.
Shoot, can you hear me now?
yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
But yeah, this kid just crawls under the stall and just starts staring at him and says, "Hi." And
I've seen that.
Oh, your sound went again.
what is going on? Anyway,
Yeah.
long story short, he screams for the parents, and my microphone is dying, and I don't know what's going on.
I kind of wish they'd make those stalls where you can't crawl under them.
Yeah, they should be floor to ceiling.
Yeah, they do make some that way, and that's what they're going to have to start doing. To make them all unisex, they need to be floor to ceiling.
Yeah, I wish they do already.
Well, it was a safety issue. They used to do it so they could pull you out from underneath if you were unconscious.
Yeah,
No, I don't think that was ever the case because it's so easy to undo those doors. Mostly, I
Well,
think it
yeah.
was a maintenance issue that was just easier to mop that way.
that
And
too.
if you think about it,
I worked as a janitor for 3 years, and yeah, it
Locker,
that
locker,
makes it
locker
a
rooms
lot
need to
easier
have stalls as well instead of being an open space where everybody changes.
Yeah,
I thought they would change that by now. When I was in high school, that was really awkward.
Oh
And
yeah,
now that-
I hate that.
But now that I look back, there was a lot of people who were extremely homophobic who were completely closeted. But funny story,
Yep.
there was someone I know who played for UCLA. He was a homophobe, just a complete a-hole. I saw him 3 years ago at Pride, literally in the parade. And I'm talking about a big, beefy, 6'4" white guy, so you can't miss him.
I guess he changed his mind.
Yeah,
I got
Exactly.
I got a lot of harassment, in middle school and high school especially, but even as an adult at the public swimming pool, just in the changing rooms, I got harassed a lot.
shitty.
And that's just because random guys thought that I didn't look manly enough.
What is a
his
manly
head.
look?
Push
That's just a stereotypical sort of thing, isn't it?
Well, a lot of it was just that I didn't have much body hair.
Well,
You
you
that
didn't
a
look like
man's
Charles
supposed to
Atlas.
have a hairy chest.
Yeah, I don't
Well, look at Will. Will looks like a thumb with sunglasses. Why does he look like that?
Oh, I don't have those problems. People leave me alone. I'm a person of color, and when I don't smile, people leave me alone. And with my vest on, like that's one thing I do appreciate because I love wandering through stores. I love shopping. People leave me alone because I look like I'm gonna fight them.
Well, and Will is also protected by that giant floating hand.
yes.
And also, this is spatial perception. Like I'm a lot bigger. I have the computer way far away.
Yeah, I'm
I
like
fight.
6 foot, so
It's so much different for a man though, because like from my experience, most men leave each other alone because the average dude doesn't want to fight.
That
You
wasn't
know?
my experience. It's, if it's somebody that they think they can take easily, they'll pick on them.
Of course. That's why humans are trash.
We are trash and make trash.
Yeah, but they are the worst people. I think they're better than others because they look different.
Yep.
And what is normal these days? What makes them normal looking?
I think there never was a normal. It's just what society presents
Yeah,
at the time.
it's a lot of looks is societal, and you've got these magazines and media that make people who
Yeah.
they are.
Our arbitrary standards of beauty.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I think beauty
Well,
is.
and I think
Beauty.
I think Dog nailed it. It's judged by what they see on the magazines, what they see in the newspapers.
Yeah.
that must be why I don't read that shit. That must be why.
Well,
Interesting. So do you
going
think
back going back to the topic of the century of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Now, Amber Heard is treated as one of them classic beautiful women, but I can understand if you think she's lying. Why she's not attractive at all? She's fucking ugly, and she's not a classic beauty. She's just an ugly woman. And that's got nothing to do with her looks. That's just the person that she is. If she's lying, well, I don't know. I really couldn't care about that.
I pay so little
Okay,
attention to it, I don't even know what she looks like.
She's very beautiful. She is. She's like yeah, she's a very pretty girl. But
Who's that?
Amber Heard.
I think she's completely average.
But Johnny Depp's a beautiful man as well. He's a good looking man.
Yeah, I think he's ugly.
I'm not
Oh,
even
wow.
saying this. I'm not even saying this to be mean, but like if you came to Southern California or even Northern California, you'd find like 6 or 7 women that look like her just walking down the street.
Skits, I sent you that in chat.
Thank you.
See, there's my wife and her friend who my friends say, "Oh, him mate, Gina's mate is it is." And I say, "Well, I don't see it. I see the beauties in my wife is beautiful, and her mate is a fucking psychopath. I don't find that attractive at all. You can't judge a person by looks alone. You've got to judge a person by a person, and this is where." It's probably where a lot of people fail, and I can get by with the trans type, with people are attractive from the person they are, who they, from what they represent, from what they say, from who they are inside, rather than what they look like. I think that's where.
Okay, but see, this is a contradiction in our society, is that they tell me that you can't judge a person until you find out what's inside. And yet, as soon as I pull the knife out, they call the cops.
Yeah.
See, I always take their cell phone first, perp.
I mean, there's obviously
Gotta take a phone.
There's obviously that with human beings, like any animal, there's obviously an initial attraction type thing. Especially if you're meeting someone in a bar, let's say, or a nightclub, or across a room, or a wedding, or wherever. If you're meeting someone for the first time, there's obviously that little bit of attraction. And then obviously that person will open their mouth. Like when I open my mouth, how I ever ended up with someone in a family, I'll never know. My mouth is just fucking rotten.
I've been with a couple of people that it's been to the point that we're starting to take our clothes off. And then they said something so stupid. I was like, no, this isn't happening. You can go home now.
But don't get me wrong. I'm like a magnet for dumb people. And I like dumb people because they make me look smart.
I have been with people that I just decided at the last moment, no, you're too stupid to fuck.
So
you didn't know the person a little bit more before that.
Well, that is probably...
In good old
That's probably the worst insult in the world. You are too stupid to fuck. It's got to be one of the worst insults I've ever heard in my life.
So, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was in Las Vegas with my friend. We were staying at this place for a week. and it's like an apartment. It has a kitchen and everything, and it is directly across the street from the gay side of Las Vegas. So she would go and do her thing every night, and I'd walk across the street to the bar. I brought some rando back, and I'm not kidding you. You find out things about yourself. The guy started sucking on my toes. I looked at him and was like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get out of here right now!" I found something out about myself that day. Don't be a toe sucker. It's gross. I don't like you. My toes are gross. I have salmon snatchers as feet. Like, there's nothing sexy about my
Well, that's
feet
just
at all.
people. It's just ignorance, though, isn't it?
So,
Well,
so
that's a separate thing. Is that sometimes your kink and their kink doesn't mesh well.
it just makes my skin crawl, and so
There's a difference
found
between
something out
ignorance
about-
and stupidity, Will.
but that person was assuming things about me, and you know, like, you got to ask first at least.
Well, as you say, yeah, that's it. Assumption makes an ass out of you and me. That's what they say, isn't it? Or the assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups.
If you want to try something kinky or unusual, you need to discuss it first.
You never know how someone's going to react. You never know.
Shove their foot down your throat.
That's gross. It's gross. Like, and I'm not kink shaming. If you're a gross toe
Like, where's the
sucker, I'm
sound
all
machine?
here for it all day long. I love you. I think you're gross. If you want to suck my toes, you're really gross. See, but I'm a man. I do manly things.
I get my no.
Oh my! But
Use
you
man
know,
soap. I suck.
Well, Will, if you want me to dress like Barbara Streisand while you throw little tiny pickles at me, then we need a safe word.
Hey, if you just told me your fantasy, I'm down. It sounds like fun.
I don't want to dress like Barbara Streisand. I've probably got the nose for Barbara Streisand.
I had a crush on Babs. I grew up watching black and whites, so like,
Oh, good. I have something objectionable to say. I hate Barbara Streisand. I think she's ugly as a pot full of burned food.
Well, I don't know.
Well, then you don't like Bette
now.
Midler either, or what?
Nope,
I
Midler's
thought
great.
she was extortionately expensive. Her gigs were like £300 a ticket when she came here. With sell-out concerts for someone who I didn't think was a good singer. I thought that made her quite ugly. But in her old
She's
days
one of those
of Yentl and things like that, she was, although she had the big nose, she was
I
very,
want to rephrase what I just said.
amazing eyes.
Barbara Streisand is
Amazing
not
eyes.
ugly. She's just not attractive to me whatsoever.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, is attraction a personal thing?
Yes.
Hey, if you look like Barbara Streisand, Godless Sewing at the Godless Sewing channel. Don't forget that. Just saying. I'm just saying.
I know kinks are personal because there's people that like feet and stockings, and I think you call it. I don't know what you guys call them. We call them tights here. I think you call them not stockings, pantyhose. You call them.
Yeah, like tights.
leggings.
Yeah, we call them tights. And there's people that like S&M and being tied up and gagged and gimps and leather zips and all of that. People love all of that. I know fetishes are very unique to people. See, this is where I am just a boring bore. I'm not interested at all. Dump your legs low.
My
Hop
chin.
on, hop off, done. Cuddle afterwards. I'm not a monster. Cuddle afterwards, obviously, and done with it. And then sleep, and we're happy.
There
They
two
have to go that bit further. They have to hammer nails through each other and put clamps all over themselves.
Again, I do not judge.
Electric fucking crocodile clips on their nuts. And
I don't judge
whatever.
what
There's
people do.
people who are into all of that. I'm
Like,
not that guy.
if here's my thing, like, if you're not harming other people and it's two consenting adults, it's none of my business, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm not that guy. I'm not this, but there's people that are into things that are just so
Yeah.
fucking insanely weird.
Yeah.
That
Well, whatever goes on between
they call them
consenting
kinks or
adults is no one
fetishes.
else's business.
I don't know. I'm not that interesting guy. That's what makes me non-interesting.
What's that, Purple?
Whatever goes on between consenting adults is no one else's business.
I agree
Exactly.
with you.
Yeah.
That's
No,
like my
that's-
rule, you
that's-
know?
As I say, that's not what I was saying.
So
Yeah,
I'll
no,
tell you,
but
like,
I know what you mean. That there's a lot of people who are into, you know, even pain as part of sex, and I don't get that at all. That, you know,
no.
to me
Jenny.
that would shut it down.
Jenny.
Yeah, I'm just kind of in the I just like fucking camp, and like I'm kind of boring like that, but there's lots of different ways I'll do that. So yeah.
Okay, Jenny.
I have to discuss three things that have been going on here. One, absolutely. There's these group of sayings that people like to fall back on, and everybody says them and has used them at some point in their life. I'm certain. Well, maybe not evangelicals, but most normal people. We say these things to make ourselves feel better. Say these things thinking that it's going to make somebody else feel better, and we say these things because we have just absolutely nothing else in our head to say because we've been trained. And the three of those three sayings are what Perp just said. What goes on between two people in the bedroom is nobody's business. Well, society wants it to be their business. Okay, that's a complete. You're not telling a lie, but society tells that as a lie. The other one is, oh gosh, there's someone for everyone. No, there's not.
No, yeah.
No, there absolutely is not. There are people who never pair up and get married and stuff.
Mathematically,
And
that's
then the
impossible.
third one is, oh, beauty is all on the inside. Well, bullshit. If it was all everybody was beautiful on the inside, then there wouldn't be any lonely people.
Exactly.
And there's millions.
There's always, as I said earlier, Jenny, there's always an attraction at the beginning that makes you talk to these people. Someone has to be attracted. There has to be an attraction.
There's a lot of people that look beautiful until you start to talk to them.
There's a
Then
song
you
about
find out
that.
how ugly they really are.
Yeah, they do. That's it.
And
That's
also,
the
it
point there.
depends on where you live. Like where I live, no one cares what anyone's doing. I live in a really conservative neighborhood. It is obvious that there is.
You live in California where everyone is made of plastic.
See,
Well,
that's a
Betty
generalization.
Boob Job and the
True.
Silicone Sister do live around here, but not everyone. And that is from
Look,
Eagle.
Perp, what you just said was interesting. You said you get to know this person and you find out they're not beautiful on the inside.
Yep.
Interesting that you took that from the beautiful person that you're approaching position compared to what you're hearing from them. Why not the situation where somebody is beautiful on the inside but not on the outside, and so they
I've had
are
that
at the end of
happen
the
too.
line.
That that some people become more attractive the more you get to know them.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not specifically going after you on this. I'm talking about society.
Yeah.
You know, what about that person?
Well,
who is beautiful on the
unfortunately,
inside,
yeah,
not on the
society
outside?
tends to shortchange those people a lot that they don't get a chance.
Which comes back to my statement about there's not someone for everyone and there's not beauty on the inside.
But Jenny, this is what I was saying about there has to be an attraction there in the fair. If you're meeting someone across a room or in a disco or in a pub, there has to be something that makes you go to that person and say, "Hey, hello." Then you move from there. There's always that attraction between animals, and that's how we got onto people that like people, fat women and big men and whatever, and Greece and people like different things. That's how we got onto that. I mean, you don't have to be. It's not. We call it beauty, and beauty is defined by the magazine.
It's BBW.
Yeah, and any of the women
attraction is attraction. It's not beauty. You know, beauty is what is in the eye of the beholder, and that is a fact. Beauty is what you see. It's what no one else sees. But you have to see that attraction to be approached in the first place. And Jenny is absolutely right. There isn't someone for everyone. That is a misconception. There's people that are born alone, they die alone. Simple as that. And you have no one who is remotely wants to. See, I'm a heterosexual guy and I always have been, but I want to fuck everyone that's on this stream now for some weird reason, because I think you're all wonderful, beautiful people.
There's a song about that.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry, but I don't do dogs. I do draw the line that you have to be the same species.
Bummer.
Well,
I did ask for that.
Be nice to furries and other kin.
I asked for that.
Oh, and that's another thing I was going to say. Like, I live in the desert. Like, we have a really huge furry community out here. I don't shame people.
Really?
Oh, huge. People go out in the desert and have sex.
That's gotta get hot.
Yeah,
I may or may not know where they go and have a furry head.
I don't know how it.
There was no thing involved, and I was sad.
Yeah, I don't know how it has happened, but apparently, something I'm involved with has a big overlap with the furry community on Twitter. That I wind up getting a lot of their stuff, and I don't know why.
Because
it just shows up every day in my feed.
Because furries are everywhere.
Oh, come on, Purple. You know deep inside you want to be a red panda.
Wait, what did you say, Jenny?
I said deep in your heart you know you want to be a red panda.
Ooh.
No.
Oh. They're so cute.
I mean, you know, if anything, I would go back to being a dinosaur, of course, but
how about
a dinosaur or a dragon?
Yeah, the definition of furry can be a bit vague. Because it can talk about the people who dress up in the costumes and all that, or it could just mean liking the artwork that you see online.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with any kink, there's different levels of it.
That's true.
I have to say, I think it's very odd, and people are welcome to do whatever they want. But I think it's very odd that people get sexually aroused by creatures that have breasts and hips and things when of course that doesn't exist in real life. I just think it's a kink that I just don't get.
I will say
that's another kink.
I will say also that, like, I do just want to like make a clear point that like furry, like the furry fandom stuff like it's not necessarily sexual for like 99% of people, and when it does get sexual, well, you know, adults get horny, so
absolutely. Well, do not kink shame. Do not kink shame.
That is America right there.
It doesn't even need to be a king.
There's a bald eagle.
Like you're in the thing, it takes forever to get in or out of the thing.
Yeah.
I would die in one of those and don't want one. But
I'm not claiming to speak with any authority, but I am guessing that for a lot of people, it probably comes from identifying with some cartoon character or some anthropomorphic character in a story when they were younger.
I suspect that as well. Too many times.
These attractions are even written in the Bible. They go back to Jesus Christ himself.
They go back before him. They go back to Zeus.
Oh, Jesus is they go back long before Jesus.
Well,
to the Old Testament and before that into the Greek mythology. These kings
there's a whole bunch of stories.
Roman orgies. There was men on men. There was just whatever.
Yeah.
nothing
mean,
matters in the Roman
the
order.
Minotaur is the fault of Zeus, and you know
There are a whole
there's a
bunch of
reason
stories about
a
Zeus
half full.
disguising himself as different animals to impregnate women.
Well, the oldest
Stinky
the
Dude's
oldest
gay lover.
fictional stories that we have is on cave paintings, and they're of anthropomorphic animals.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually,
Very
I
ancient.
was just watching a YouTube thing last night about cave lions from about 30,000 years ago, and the paintings from the hominids that were in the area at the time show humanoid figures with cat heads.
I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
I mean, cat girls be doing the cat girl thing since
Oh,
before humans even were humans.
Dominion Tank Police. It's an anime from
I've seen
1989.
that.
I obsessively watch it
God.
over and over.
I've seen
I love
that.
I love that one. I love that one.
We'll go dives into the seediest part of the internet,
I-
obviously.
Will, do you have
Purple
a
and
still you
Jenny.
can show?
have you
No.
seen?
I know the program, you know, I've seen stills from it. I've never watched it.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Oh, 420. I got your message from the chat.
They have discovered recently a drawing that is pre-human. So they think like we weren't the first ones to actually put a drawing on a wall. And it's not a bad little drawing, like for a thing that's not even human. I need to look this up.
Pre-human or pre-Homo sapien?
Not maybe not pre-Homo sapien.
So,
Um,
yeah.
or possibly at the same time, but not us. So it
I
was
mean,
another species.
I'm pretty sure that the Neanderthals had art. So
Yes, they did. I've seen.
Yeah.
I've seen.
Was it
Yeah,
Stories
there,
in-
there were some earlier hominids that did cave art.
yeah.
In fact, we might not even be the first species of human to have religion.
Well, we are.
That's
We
It's
are-
something humans do. Imagine going into a cave and seeing "Ugh does it for dinosaur meat" written
Yeah,
on a
but
wall.
we
That
are
would
the
just be-
conglomerate of the species that survived. Because our species added every time they came across something, they'd have sex with it and add it on.
Kill it or fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill
Feed me,
it,
fight
fuck it,
me,
or
fuck
milk
me.
it.
Those are my rules. The three
Kill
F.
it, fuck it, or
Those are
milk
actually
it.
my rules.
And sometimes both.
Yeah. Or all three at the same time.
Oh my!
Or all
I can
three of them.
multitask.
Fuck it, milk it, and kill it.
Some combination of the three.
Yeah, that's yeah, those are my
Okay,
rules.
Jenny, since you asked, when I Google tank police, this is what comes up.
Yes.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Yes.
So yeah,
I
you
wa-
can see the characters are highly sexualized.
So that was my first experience of cat girls. So I have that image of cat girls in my head every time anyone
Okay.
says that.
So those are actually like just it's a manga too, but I've never gotten a hold of the manga. So Anna Puma and Una Puma, I think are their names. I can't remember. Like they're not actually even humans or necessarily living. They're like sex androids that were repurposed for combat.
No,
Don't give it
Medusa
away.
wasn't a furry. Medusa
Japanese
was
anime,
a
isn't it? Why do people attracted to
Dominion-
Japanese anime?
Dominion Tank Police is awesome.
Yes, it is.
The one thing I love about the old school anime is that like down the street we still have a video place where they sell videos, and the owner, she sells all the old animes, so I watch them on VHS, and you have to pay attention because you have to read the subtitle.
Yeah.
So I love
Now, see
those old
that's a problem for me with my dyslexia. It takes me so long to read the subtitles that I can't watch the pictures and do it.
Yeah, well, that's
I
it.
have the same
Maybe
problem.
you're like me. Bugs Bunny in a dress as a woman. That did it for me.
It did it
my,
for me too, but for different
With the
reasons.
little brolly and the
my first
lipstick.
experience with cat girls was Thundercats.
Oh,
Katara.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't even remember, so I would have just said Tank Police.
Yeah, I
My first
wouldn't be able
experience
to say
with
what was
cats.
my first experience with those kind of furry things, but you know, there's so many of them out there with all the anime and manga.
What was
And
the?
Oh, go ahead, Tears.
Space 1999. When What's-Her-Face, the doctor, she morphed into a cat. Willow knows
Well-
Space 1999.
Of course I do.
Well, and you know, even long before that, just all the superhero comics, you know, had a lot of what seemed to be human animal hybrids of various sorts.
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, if anyone is wondering, I got my furry head at Walmart in the giant bin.
Walmart.
Barbara Crane.
The one character apparently that has launched 1,000 furries was Sally Acorn from the Saturday Morning Sonics cartoon.
And
First and
She was actually
only
my favorite character, though.
female for me until recently was Catwoman from Batman.
Which one?
Which one? There's like
Bruce
7 or 8 of them, isn't there?
Yep.
Bruce Wayne. Fuck me.
That's what Nerdy just said too, and yeah, I think for a lot of people that probably was, you know, from the Batman live action series in the '60s even.
the
The movie from the
Julie Newmar.
80s.
Michelle
The,
Pfeiffer.
there's
Michelle.
a Sonic the Hedgehog anime too.
The TV one was Julie Newmar.
Oh, okay.
That was big.
That's
Was
like I will always think of Jack Nicklaus as the Joker. That was like my Michael Keaton was
Michael
my
Keaton.
Batman.
The
That
best
was-
Batman.
That's the one, man.
It's
Yeah.
not
Well,
surprising how he
even
pulled
in
that off.
even in the comics back then, women were drawn in a certain sort of shape and with the arse and the breasts and that hourglass type effigy that portrayed Marilyn Monroe sort of shape.
Yeah,
Woman.
and that's why I'm saying, you know, that goes all the way back in comic books in the '50s. They were
Exactly, yeah, that's what, yeah. But obviously now it's all changed.
Oh, look at Betty Boop.
Boop-doop-be-doop.
yeah.
Well, she had a massive head,
Hey,
She
so do I.
gave massive head.
massive head.
Massive.
Well,
Her and
actually,
Barbie.
my Batman would be Kevin Conroy.
Is that from the animated series?
Yeah, he's the voice of the animated series.
My
Yeah,
favorite
I'll go with
Batman would be Ryan Reynolds.
I never paid much attention to the DC heroes, so I don't know one Batman from another.
The best Batman is Adam West. Of course it is.
Oh God,
He's out.
From the movie, come on, Jenny. Robin, reach into my belt and get my shark repellent spray.
I
When
grew
they
up
were
with that
talking about
series and it was pathetic
Shark,
back then.
Batman, bat shark repellent spray. What a genius
won't even
thought
lie.
of shark repellent spray in your bat belt.
I won't even lie. I love the Adam West Batman. I love every episode. The
It was
movie is
basically it was
amazing.
basically the comic book, because the comic book, when you read the comic book, was all this boop, bop, chow, all of them words, and they put that into film, into motion. How cool was that? And then
because
obviously it's
genetic-
gone dark, and the same has gone with Marvel, and it's now a big, massive franchise. DC, you've got the Superman, you got the Marvel with your Spider-Man, your Iron Man.
Yeah, you know,
your
I
Avengers.
really don't care for the
all money now.
Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm still holding on to the Marvel comics from the '70s and '80s. Those are where I know the characters from.
You still have
I
them.
just did the '90s TV show. Like
If
the
you
90s
still have them, Purple, people hold on to them for another few years, and they'll probably wear.
Well,
wear-
unfortunately, no, I don't actually have the paper comics anymore.
Yeah.
I think I still have all my comics.
You know, at my mom's house, she has all the like Superman versus Muhammad Ali, or like Spider-Man takes down Hitler. Like she has all these really weird, rare comics at the house, and she knows they're worth money. So I'm always like, "Can I have that?" And she's like, "No."
I wish I had bought that one of Spider-Man meeting Obama.
Oh wow!
See,
I'm still out of the loop.
I have
so
two
out of-
LPs. See, I was always music, so I've got two LPs. I've got the original press of the 12-inch Blue Monday, in the floppy disk style LP, and I've got Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones with the original zipper on the front, and it's in a silk sleeve, and that is worth basically. Well, I could retire off of it, and I won't sell it.
No,
Did that one get banned?
Obviously, if I was desperate, I would sell it.
Did it get
Because I know
banned?
it's worth tens of thousands of pounds.
Someone gave me the first issue of Shazam.
Oh wow!
What's the story on Shazam? The basic. Just give me briefly the origin on Shazam.
Never heard of it.
He's a kid. He gets all these magical powers from all these gods that combine together to create this thing. Whenever he says Shazam,
He becomes his other self.
yeah, it becomes this really buff adult, but with all these superpowers from different gods.
How's it going, Jeff?
See, but there's no sell point there, is there? Because even now you've got your Batman, you've got your Spider-Man, and all of these people they have these origin stories, don't they? And they create these origin. If you've already got the origin of who you are,
He basically turns into the magical Superman.
I'm gonna go pull my long boxes out. I have like 6 or 7 long boxes.
You always have these questions. I've gone through life. Who will win in a fight, the Hulk or Spider-Man?
I gotta be right back.
Well, in the 90s, they actually had the DC versus Marvel run, and I have all of those. Those were actually really good comics. Gosh, don't make me pull up my. I have a ton of long boxes.
Well, to be fair, the way the Marvel universe has gone with the Avengers and things like that, the Hulk would literally own Spider-Man. He fucked Loki up, didn't he? Proper, and he's a god.
He's a damn god.
Imagine what he'd do to Spider-Man, a teenage fucking adolescent boy, virgin boy, thinking about women all the time.
The only way anyone's gonna, beat the Hulk is going to be outsmarting him in some way. Because obviously that's where the Hulk's lacking. He doesn't have a really fast mental process.
Well, I don't know.
The Hulk was so indestructible that in the comics they sent him to a different universe. The Avengers literally put him in jail. They tricked him. They put him on a ship and sent him off to a different universe.
Just punch him into the sun and be done with it.
The Hulk is indestructible, at least in that universe. Is
the Hulk a problem child?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because he's so at least in the I'm getting super geek on this one, but like in the comics, they send him to a different planet because he's just, imagine every time he'll move his arm, he'll smash a building down, or in real life, the Hulk would be a problem.
Were they say this moment from the Natural History Museum to the Hulk? It's just a genius movie.
Every time he got mad in this particular run, every time he got mad, they couldn't stop him. So they they literally tricked him and sent him to a different universe.
I think it was genius.
Were they trying to get rid of him, or were they trying to off him?
Yes.
I was thinking it was genius that they cast Mark Ruffalo as Hulk. It's such a total reversal. He's such a kind and gentle man in real life. Just for him to be the Hulk is just bizarre.
Hi, Jeff.
Can
Oh yeah.
Can the Hulk fly or breathe or breathe vacuum?
See you later, Sammy.
Bye.
Just punch him into orbit and wait 5 minutes.
No.
maybe half an hour if he can hold his breath particularly long.
Oh, man.
Apparently, that doesn't really affect him because there have been, times that the Hulk has like fought Thor on the moon.
Yes.
So the
Hulk is-
breathing thing wasn't an issue for either of them.
exactly.
Cool, but can Hulk
The
fly?
Hulk in the end, especially in the way he's portrayed by Disney, since they took over Marvel, is that he's now half and half. He's half Hulk, half Dr. Banner. So he can become either one of them. He can become the Doctor, but he just sticks in the middle.
The Hulk I'm
He's
thinking of.
he's like a passive
Yeah.
giant,
Professor Hulk. Yeah.
green
Professor
giant.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read all the
Yeah,
comics
you're
in
right,
the
yeah.
80s. So, like in the 80s, Tony Stark was a drunk. The Hulk was indestructible. Thor had daddy issues.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. In the comics, the Hulk was indestructible, but he had no control over when he'd turn between Banner and the Hulk.
Aren't they bringing Thor out as gay? Oh, geez.
I don't
That's
think so. I don't. Not that I know of. I mean, I know that they. I don't. I haven't kept up the comics for a few years. Because there was a big thing about them making. There's a big outrage about the fact they were making Thor a woman.
Yeah,
and it
well,
was more that just that somebody else, a female character, took on the mantle of Thor.
right.
So
Well,
people, obviously, with these things,
it's part of the
these
mythos.
things,
From
yeah,
in Thor's very first appearance, it was actually engraved on the hammer that whoever holds this hammer, be they worthy, shall wield the power of Thor. So
yeah.
it's just whoever the hammer judges to be worthy.
Oh,
Well, that was the thing with Stan Lee, wasn't it? He gave all these characters a background,
well, he was a genius.
whether it be Spider-Man, Iron Man.
Please tell me that.
Well, I mean, look, I can't knock the contribution to Stan Lee too much because obviously the man did change the comic book industry or a lot of it, but I think in a lot of retrospect, you do have to read some. If you read some of that stuff back then, effectively he changed it from being one-dimensional characters to two-dimensional characters.
Oh, exactly.
So, and other people built on Stan's work, but I mean, obviously, you can't knock Stan too much because he did change. He did change the comic industry. I mean, I know
Stanley...
there's been. I know.
Well, I think Deadpool changed
over with Ditko over how much of Spider-Man.
I think Deadpool changed the way that these characters behave with the language, and even Stan Lee was a stripper, bleeding DJ, wasn't he? In the stripper bar.
One of the things that Stan Lee really added to the comic books is he started to ask the question of, okay, we've seen them when they got their superpowers and they're fighting villains. What are they doing the rest of the time? Like Peter Parker patrolling at night for villains, but during the day trying not to flunk out of school.
This is it. That's the background. And there was always a background, and the background normally had dark sides with parents, but that goes with all the characters. Even Batman, Bruce Wayne went through his thing where his parents were murdered by the Joker when he was a child, and things like that. They've all got these like growing up issues.
I'll say one thing. I'm very glad to see that. I'm very glad to see that Bill Finger's byline has got restored on Batman as a co-creator along with Bob Kane, because Bill Finger was ignored for years. But
I didn't know that, Jeff. I think, are you on your phone, mate?
Hey, Jeff, you're kind of muffled.
Yeah, you're quite quiet.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little.
Okay, sorry. I've just got a very cheap new set of headphones in, to be honest, because it's all I can afford right now. So
that's better. All of a sudden you went loud.
I boosted your mic a bit.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm just
Yeah,
sat at
Jeff,
home.
you're the
I've
one.
got the,
Jeff, you're the one that will know about the. You're the Marvel guy, obviously. You know more than most of us about it.
well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like a
Well, Will's your
massive,
Star
massive
Trek
expert.
Stargate guy. You're the Marvel sort of. You've got normally you've got your Deadpool pictures in your background and
Well,
whatnot.
Yeah.
Me and Peter are fucking clueless.
Well, no, I've got the old school Marvel. I don't know about the current stuff. I know
Yeah.
about the stuff from the 70s and
Well,
80s.
I'm more the current stuff through the movies, not the. I was never a comic book sort of guy when I was younger.
Yeah, although I've gotten a little more interested now that they're focusing a bit on Doctor Strange, because he was always my favorite. I would love to see Doctor Strange with the original Defenders.
I have a run of the Defenders. Now you're starting to show your age as well.
Yep.
Not too many people even know about the Defenders.
Okay, yeah, and in the original Defenders, Valkyrie was a fabulous concept. Her secret identity was so good that even she didn't know what it was. Whatever it was that gave her her powers erased all of her memories before that point. She had no clue who she used to be.
This whole conversation makes me want to pull out all my long boxes, and no, that wasn't a sexual innuendo. I have giant boxes filled with comic books.
I've actually wanted to make my own X-Men in comic ever since Decimation M-Day, because I do not like that storyline at all, and just went downhill from there for as far as I'm concerned with them. There's been some stuff that's been good, but
I think my favorite contemporary superhero. I'm not into the comics, so I don't know how old this character is or anything. But I absolutely in love with the character of Deadpool, and I think it's pretty much mostly because Ryan Reynolds brought it to life.
Yeah, he did.
Ryan,
And I admit my bias that I have a complete crush on Ryan Reynolds, and I could fuck him till I die if I could.
Oh, Jimmy, have you seen Free Guy? Oh, you got to watch Free Guy. Brilliant.
I really want to see his one where he comes back in time to his child self. I forget the
Free
title.
Guy is sort of he plays an NPC in a computer game, but he's alive. It's it's a good story. It really is, and but what you see in the background is just what you see. If you've ever played a computer game, I've watched my son play lots of them. You see all these other people just doing what is happening. The background is so good in that film. It's brilliant. It's directed by Sean Levy. I cannot tell you how good that film is. But Ryan Reynolds is brilliant in it. He's typical Deadpool.
He is a very underrated actor.
Deadpool actually didn't.
Very talented.
Deadpool actually started it as a ripoff of Deathstroke, and his original, his first incarnation wasn't this wisecracking Merc. He was actually very serious when he was first introduced.
I mean, because if you see the character Deathstroke from DC Comics, it's called Slade Wilson is his name, and so Deadpool is Wade Wilson, and Marvel and DC used to do this between one another every so often. They do a blatant little rip off of one another's characters, and
absolutely.
Essentially, I forget the name. No, I do forget the name of the writers. I think Christopher Priestley might have been one of them. But Deadpool was kind of a series that was basically more or less sent to the back of Marvel's. Like it wasn't a priority title. So essentially, the writers, I think, just started. For lack of a better word, jacking off with the character. So a lot of this stuff of him breaking the fourth wall would come in, and a lot of the fact that he's self-aware. But everyone else, what makes Deadpool is good is that mainly most of the other people around him are not self-aware of what's going on. And So
Jeff.
it just became, I think it was one of those things that became like a sort of a little thing that, between like the comic book, the real big comic book fans, it became like an underground success and just caught on gradually and just built up into this, obviously this phenomenon that Deadpool is now.
Well, Rob Liefeld, who created Deadpool, ripped off a lot of characters. It just happened to be Deadpool kind of stuck.
Well, this is what I'm saying. In DC Comics, wasn't there a Wade Wilson that wore two swords on his back as well?
Like in DC, Slade Wilson.
Was it Slade Wilson in
Slade was
DC?
awesome.
Slade was hardcore. He's called Deathstroke. He's an amazing character in his own right, and
he could fly though, couldn't he? He could fly.
I don't remember that from the comics.
No. Deathstroke is more like sort of a evil little Captain America in his power set.
Yeah,
he was in the Judas Contract.
He's like some of the characters in the Spawn books. If you've ever read Spawn by Image,
Spawn is awesome.
Deathstroke's similar to some characters in that, but
and he's in the 80s.
Essentially, Deadpool was a Marvel ripoff of Deathstroke. And that became its own kind of thing. But Marvel and DC, they've done this a lot over the years of kind of ripping each other off, and I will say mainly it's been Marvel ripping off DC. I'd say Marvel are the bigger offenders on that, but they've kind of done it to one another over the years, ripping off characters.
See, I get it from the movie side, where Wade Wilson was introduced from the Wolverine Origins on the movie side, and he came in at the end where he got killed by, obviously, Wolverine. But Wade Wilson character was early on in the film, and that was
Aquaman and his...
I don't know if any of you have seen the Netflix series of like Teen Titans live action
I've
one.
seen Titans,
Titans. Well, in the second series, of that, Deathstroke is the main villain, and that is the character Deadpool is based on. And also in that series, Deathstroke is done very well. I quite like the way Deathstroke is done in that series.
I could be wrong, but Deathstroke, his first appearance was in the Teen Titan comics. At least for me, when I was a kid, because I still have them.
It may well have been. I couldn't swear to that though, off the top of my head.
When I was smart enough. Well, I come from an older family, so my brother would always tell me buy two, because comics were like 50 cents back in my day, And I had quite an extensive collection, and when I got divorced, I sold a large amount of them. But the Teen Titans are the ones that I kept.
Yep.
Those
first
are good
appearance of Deathstroke, like the new Teen Titans issue number 2.
That's what I figured.
Okay, so essentially it was in Teen Titans, but the new Teen Titans to be precise.
I have that run too.
I mean, obviously, we used to get some of the Marvel comics on the shops and we were in Britain when I was a kid, but we also had a lot of the British comics, which we'd have things like the Eagle and the Victor, those kind of things, which I don't think those books just don't exist anymore. Roy, Dogs. Remember, it's Roy of the Rovers. Those.
Roy of the Rovers, Dan Dare. Yeah, we didn't have the superhero flying.
We get some of them, but
we didn't get why a guy can fly around the world a million miles an hour, and everyone knows him from his childhood. But as soon as he puts a pair of glasses on, he's not Superman.
Yeah. Well,
where did that come from?
I'll say this though: we had one amazing comic that started in the late 70s in Britain, and I'm actually friends on Facebook with one of the writers, actually, a guy called Pat Mills. 2000 AD.
Yeah.
Henry
Judge-
Cavill.
Yeah.
Henry
Well,
Cavill.
2000
people-
AD, that had
people
Judge
don't
Dredd
know
in it as well, didn't it?
Judge Dredd is probably the
Yeah.
most well-known character for 2000 AD.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I know
you're
that. I actually know
familiar
that
with
comic.
Judge Dredd. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Mage?
Henry Cavill actually did the Superman disguise and it worked. We went to the premiere of his movie of Man of Steel, with just glasses to hide who he was, and it worked.
And I'm
What are
going
the-
to say this.
I
I'm going to say this.
stupid.
One of the
I'm
crazy
I'm
stories
going to say
I
this.
know.
Whoa, dog.
I don't know how
No,
that
a
can.
long
They're
time
ignorant
ago.
like that. They're ignorant
No,
like that. You
a
can
long
disguise
time
yourself
ago-
easy in America with a pair of
A long time ago, Charlie Chaplin in Rio de Janeiro, he entered a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest and came in third.
You would. Yeah, I
That's
heard
great.
about
That's
that.
fucking great.
Yeah.
You would
It's
be.
a real
You would
story,
be
look it up.
surprised.
You know, I recognise Maygay. I recognise Maygay
Oh.
now.
You would be
She took
surprised.
her glasses off.
Yeah.
Well,
Back
she here,
in
so
the
to say.
50s.
She's Charlie
They're taking their
Chaplin.
glasses off. They're taking their glasses off now. Put your glasses on. I won't know. I won't have a fucking clue who you are.
Fun fact that
If
Charlie
you were
Chaplin.
a passerby, you might not even recognize me. I've done that.
My turn. Back in the
Go on,
50s,
Jenny.
I don't understand how people can think that that's a valid disguise and
Oh, God, Jenny.
buy it.
You're brilliant in this stuff.
In the 50s, when I saw Superman brand new, I would see the switch from Superman to Clark Kent, and I didn't believe it then at 5 years old. You know, it was. I don't know how people can suck it up today.
I don't get this, Jenny, about you. You're a lot older than me, yet you're so much younger. I don't get this. This is where I fucking fail as a human being. I am basically, I'm a Kevin Sorbo in this group. That's just, I'm Sorbo.
Well, they have tried to retcon the whole thing, saying that his glasses are able to create a sort of form of face blindness.
Yeah, yeah. I think even facial ID has a problem with him.
But also, it was the little curl in the front as well, wasn't it? There was a little curl in the front that he
That's
combed
true.
back when he was
That's true.
Clark.
Are you guys ready for my unboxing?
I've actually had people like, oh wait, you're that person who was here just 2 days ago.
Sorry, if you hear me reacting every so often, just so you know, I've got the soccer going on in the background.
If that's a big box of weed.
For disguises, I cannot wait till September. I'm going to go to my 50th high school reunion, and nobody there has ever seen me since high school.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, fancy.
Fancy, huh?
Nice.
Oh,
What is it?
so sorry, Jenny. Look, I have to ask a question. This is pre-transition.
Yeah,
High school.
not
Yeah.
a clue. It'll be fun. The people who organize it, they know, and they've seen pictures of me, but nothing in real life.
So yeah, it could be interesting, I suppose.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. They
I'm
don't
sure
want to
you'll
beat me
be
up
fine.
anymore. They did that in high school. They're done. Now I can sue them if they touch me.
Yeah. Dog. It's the only. Can I ask you a question? Because I'm going to ask Dog a question here. Being the only other British guy to go, I've got the football going on in the background. Okay, now I'm conflicted here because part of me wants to cheer the plucky Scottish football team, but the fact that it's Glasgow Rangers and given their history, I don't know. I don't feel I can really cheer them. What say you, Dog?
See, I was always a Rangers rather than Celtic fan, to be fair.
Yeah.
So if I was in that situation, I would cheer on the Rangers rather than the Celtic.
I don't know. I mean, I know things.
But I'm
I
talking
know
from an
things-
Evertonian sort of view.
Yeah.
And the Celtic Rangers thing was a religious thing, Jeff, remember? It was a Catholic
I
brotherhood.
know. Yes, well, it's not just that though. I know Glasgow Rangers have changed that policy, and that I can see about half a dozen black players in the Rangers team. But
Exactly.
you
They may
remember
have
for like
changed the
years
policy,
and
but
years and years, they had an institutionalized racist policy on players.
yeah,
But I'm
as I
always,
say,
I don't know.
you mentioned the key word there, Jeff. Institutionalized. There'll always be a religious difference between the Rangers and Celtic.
Yeah.
It'll always be that way, and
It's just knowing that a lot of Glasgow Rangers fans are a lot really right wing or have a bit of a right wing fan base. I don't know. I kind of want to cheer them as the plucky Scottish underdog, but given their history, I don't know.
No, I will go with the football is concerned now. With Glasgow and their Celtic and Rangers sort of arrangement, is I don't give two fucks what goes on there. That's why I'm not watching it. But with the rugby side, I do admire your shows on the rugby bit of Scotland and their rugby attempts at trying to of world dominance. Obviously, it's failing at the moment. Other than that, I don't really support the Scottish football. Take out the I've taken out the religious bigotry of football now. Just go with
I just
two teams. I'm an Everton team, obviously from childhood and where I live now. So I do support the second division Norwich as well.
But just like when I was a kid, I wanted to go to Notre Dame until I realized they probably wouldn't even let me walk on
Britain
campus.
now. You're talking France. You're talking about Britain. Yeah, where you
going? I was raised hardcore Roman Catholic, and in America, if you're a Roman Catholic, like when you go to college, you go to Notre Dame. They wouldn't even. I had the grades, and they wouldn't even let me walk on campus.
Well, let's put it this way. If you're a Roman Catholic, you would not be a Glasgow Rangers fan. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I was a Roman Catholic and a Glasgow Rangers fan as a teen, Will, because I was abused by the Roman Church.
I actually know a little bit,
but abused by them. I was
cheering on.
abused by them.
No, I get it. I could.
My grandmother was Catholic.
Dog, for you then, cheering on Rangers was a little bit of a form of resistance against the Catholic Church.
It was, yeah, it was. That's what it was, and that's why I mentioned the religious thing. And now I really couldn't give a fuck. It's Scottish football. It's shit.
Yeah.
End of story.
But it's got a lot of. I mean, it's
But on your side, it's football. It's on TV and it's sport. I've sat there watching German football. I really have sat there. I'm just watching German leagues and
they're playing Frankfurt.
Leagues.
They're playing Frankfurt, by the way, just so you know.
But yeah.
No, I'm the same way.
Jeff, have you got that app Sofa Score?
Sorry?
Have you got the app Sofa Score?
No.
Oh, it's a must, mate.
I'll watch.
It does all the American football. It does every single sport on the planet. If you want to follow it, you can name your teams. It's called Sofa Score. It's probably the best phone app you'll ever own.
Okay. Well, people, I think I need to wrap it up here.
I knew that'd happen as soon as I started talking football. Purple was right.
Well, no. Besides
Sports ball.
It's just the time. I've
still
been
got
at
plenty
this
of
2.5 hours.
museums
And I got
to
other
talk
stuff
about.
I need to get done.
I want to
today.
talk about Ken Ham's Ark Museum, the Creationist Museum.
Now I'm going to play with my new microphone.
Yeah, we should have gotten to that, but
that'll still
Next time.
That'll still be here next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
Are you sure the insurance companies wouldn't have pulled it down?
Okay, last words and plugs, dog. Any last words?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Perps, mate. As usual. I love you all. I ain't got much to say. I just thought it'd be fun to come on. I'm on my own tonight. I'm drinking whiskey. So.
Yep, it's good to have you. I'd be drinking too, except it's too early in the day here. I've still got other things I need to do yet. Okay, Mage.
Well,
Final
probably
thoughts?
I'll probably be over on Lavender Lady's channel if she does a live stream today. And I guess my
Is
final
she
words will
doing that
be:
tonight or Thursday night?
I think she's doing it tonight.
Okay.
She switched to Wednesdays because she can't handle doing the dialysis and live streaming.
Okay.
So I guess my final words will be toga, toga, toga.
Okay, Jeff.
Well, I've got my channel, Godless Scummer. So hey, check it out. Give it a sub and like and all that sort of stuff. I don't necessarily have anything planned. There's I will say I don't know if it will happen, but there's I've been kind of going for an intermediary that I've never done a debate with anyone before, but there's one little apologist prick I wouldn't mind a crack at, and so I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we'll see. Because
who's the little apologist prick? There's many
he's a dickhead. This is the problem. This is why I don't know if it will happen, because he's a dickhead, and I've told him outright that I think he's a dickhead, but he keeps going on this atheism as a cult thing, and I'm like, okay, I wouldn't mind taking you on that one.
Okay.
Jeff, I'm going to give everyone who's listening, who knows this and who will watch this in the future, a little pursuit to prove me wrong. Can you please find me an apologist who isn't a dickhead? Is not a dickhead. I would like for you to find me that apologist.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm saying, Jeff, you give us no fucking.
I know. I mean, I know a younger creationist. I won't say her name, but who I think is quite a nice person. But she's not really an apologist. But
okay.
Jeff, please, you please. I would love to see you debate Greg.
Okay, got to move on here.
It's like your holy grail, mate. That would be fucking awesome.
Okay, we need to move on here. Skits, any final words?
Just thank you so much for inviting me on. It's.
Well,
You're awesome.
I appreciate you here, and you've been contributing to the channel for quite a while. Jenny,
Well, good afternoon, everybody. You've been a wonderful chat. I've enjoyed it. That all that kind of good stuff. Later tonight, 7:00 Central, I believe, I'll be on the show with Godless Granny, and with two other lovely people, Julie the Voice and Kitty, our own favorite Kitty. And we're going to be talking about legal rights and stuff like that, with the court decision coming up about abortion and stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that, let's see, what time would that be? Fuck, I can't remember. Something at 9:00 I'm doing also. B's toxic or oxic masculinity open mic night.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's going to be on after Granny.
Yeah. And then Thursday at 10 Central, Purple's late night show.
Yep. Okay, May?
I'm just going to be streaming. I'm probably going to stream tomorrow afternoon on Twitch TV/Maygaming World Warships. I'm a little behind on some stuff I have to do with the game before I can actually stream it, so it'll be tomorrow at some time.
Nice.
Okay, Will.
Here we go.
Put your seatbelts on, kids.
How's
it going? I'm Godless Sewing from the Godless Sewing channel. Go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. Right now, I have a video up of how I made Klingon flags, and as you can tell, I'm American, so I don't know my right from my left. But the one thing I do know is that you should go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel, and also to all of the people that have lately have subscribed to the Godless Sewing channel, I love you all. We will all make out sometime. You guys are awesome. And those who haven't, come on down.
Speak for
I'm a
yourself.
non-religious, non-political atheist. Godless Sewing at the Godless Sewing channel. Come on down. I'm on Twitter too, but Twitter's drama. So Godless Sewing. Godless
Can I
Sewing.
just say that Will Shills is just a fucking show on his own.
Yeah, well, that's why I always save him to last.
It's a work of art.
And as
I can
always,
see why you leave
Will
Will to
Shill.
laugh.
Oh, so
It's
yeah, with
Will
that,
Shill.
I-
You even come up with a fucking theme tune. It's Will Shill.
with that, I need to, thank my supporters here, Skits and Mage, of course, and Ox, who I think is still in the side chat moderating for me, along with Jyuni the Apostate, who's been doing all of my artwork lately, and Robert X, Lavender Lady, Greg Hartwick, who was also in the side chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here, and Dog. I appreciate you sending me a couple bucks a month to keep things running here, to pay the internet bill.
No.
So with that, yeah, I will be probably be on Beck tonight after Granny wraps up, and then be back here at 10 p.m. tomorrow, 10 p.m. Central, and again noon Wednesday next week. So we'll see you all then. Bye bye.
And remember, if you want to have sex, give me a call.
rock
Yeah,
out.
when you want one